You can support this show at patreon.com/ASA podcasting.
He knew the world would not be the same. Few people laughed. Few people cried. Most people were silent. I remembered the line from the Hindu scripture, the Bhagavad Gita. Vishnu is trying to persuade the prince that he should do his duty, and to impress him takes on his multi-armed form and says, "Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds." I suppose we all thought that one way or another.
Hello and welcome to the 71st edition of the Fallout Roundtable. It's the 11th episode of Season 7, and we are the show who compares and contrasts Fallout experiences through a lively roundtable discussion by playing through the same quests with characters who have been randomly assigned drastically different attributes. Welcome, everyone. Howdy. I am Andrew. Welcome to the show. Tonight, we have some very special roundtable stuff going on. So I thought I would tap on our group over to the PS4 section. We've got a couple of great members from the PS4 group members here on the show. Very excited to speak with them. But first, we have... I don't know if we've ever actually officially announced it or not, but I think people are starting to figure it out. Jess, have we made an official announcement or anything?
We haven't, but series regular Jess is in the house, y'all.
Series regular Jess, welcome to the show. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
And our PS4 guys for this evening, we have Jen. Hi, Jen.
Hello.
Hopping all the way in from Canada. And Will. Hi, Will.
Hello. Good evening. How's everyone?
Wonderful. Thank you for hopping on, everybody. Sarah and Ray both came up with stuff to do, better things to do this evening, so we can't blame them. There's lots of stuff out there. So we will coast in this evening with I Am Become Death. The little clip I played at the intro of the show. J. Robert Oppenheimer, the person we have to thank for video games like Fallout. He made the video game, right? Isn't that what he's famous for?
Yep. Him and Heisenberg together, co-authors.
Yeah. So the speech from the Bhagavad Gita, very cool. I am become death. Very, very ominous message.
Such a stark intro. You know, it sucked the energy out of the room for a minute. Put it back in with the theme song. But yeah, it highlights how serious it all really is. You know, the contrast of what we do in Fallout, the deadly seriousness with the oddities and eccentricities of the Fallout world. Ooh, especially in this quest where we're, throwing up nukes for fun.
Yeah, I know. That's one thing we do need to actually discuss is, for the story of doing this nuke, it has a very specific purpose, but for the play style of just the game itself, people just treat it like a fun little event to go on. It's really strange how it is the most impactful and weighted thing in the game, yet it's just treated as like, hey, I'm gonna go launch a nuke, y'all. You guys want to come? It's gonna be a fun old time. Come on down.
Who wants to come along?
It's always fun. Yeah.
Toss a nuke out. It'll be great. All right. So, are we all nuking? Jen, have you launched nukes?
Yes. Yeah.
Will, are you nuking?
Oh yeah. Whenever I can.
Jess, you have quite a few characters. Have you gotten any into that level yet?
None of them have nuked. Nope.
All right.
You know,
Well,
I've been on audio with you guys a bunch of times while you guys are nuking. You know, I've heard all the fun running through the silos over and over again, and I've killed a few queens in my time, but never actually nuked yet.
Yeah. Well, speaking of the queen, that's the real.
Yeah.
You know, it's not even a MacGuffin because it's a real thing. It's the real goal of this whole nuke thing. It's going after the Scorch Beast queen. So I guess in the whole thing, we need to discuss like Scorch Beasts, how Scorch Beasts are made again, discuss why a nuke would be effective against them. I guess they're effective against most things, but if they're from a fissure site, wouldn't it be created by radiation anyway? Why would a nuke more radiation be effective? I don't know. We can get into the finer details of the philosophy of what we're doing here with the story. But first, we should probably go ahead and check in with Jen. I wanted to ask you, Easter went by recently. You've had quite a few bunny interactions on your Twitter recently. It's really been great to follow. I really liked your bunny wall, the bunny tower, the bunny arch, the bunny, other formations of bunnies. You've got the Calvary you've set up, everything. It's great.
Yeah, my mounted bunnies. I have a whole bunny diorama thing happening now. Yeah, it's a little crazy.
Have you started adding more sheep squatch plushie yet?
Yes, I have, and I'm working. I'm currently working on a bit of a picture book, or like a little slideshow of what's happening with the bunnies and the sheep squatches. They're teaming up and getting up to mischief. So, I'm really hoping that I can start adding things from my stash so I can diversify the story a little bit, because right now the bunnies and the sheep squatches can only interact with each other.
That's it.
So,
yeah.
So they're doing lots of things, and I'll be posting it soon, I hope. But yeah, I got a little crazy with them. I was like, plushy bunny, I'm there. So I got it. But I mean, I'm a little novelty crazy. Like every time one of these things comes up, I went not mad. And then I went bunny nuts. So I'm working with the camera now and playing, throwing myself in front of Mothman and trying to take pictures.
How's the camera going? Because that is one thing. I haven't found the camera yet. I haven't really tried to work with it. Jess and I ran around one evening. We checked 4 or 5 different spots in a row.
Sure did.
It never turned up for me. But I don't really know anything about this. What is the purpose? What's the function? What's it like? What are we doing? I see lots of like challenges revolving around it. I
don't want to spoil too much, and it's different because you like a body will spawn, and then you find stuff on the body, and that will start a quest. But there are different kinds of bodies that can spawn, and they spawn in different places, but typically at tourist locations, so at monuments and theme parks and that kind of stuff around Appalachia. So you find the body, you find a holotape and the camera bit, and then it leads this fun quest. So the camera is like a weapon. You can equip it like a weapon, and then you would aim with, on PS4, you would aim with your left trigger and then shoot with your right.
Was this basically just an easy way for them to have faster photo mode access, to put it on our wheel instead of having to go through the start menu?
Yeah, I feel like it's just a different interface for the camera, because you have the field of view slider, and now you can get zoom lenses on the camera, so you can zoom in closer and get kind of like a telephoto shot of a creature or something like that. And a lot of the quests end up being like scavenger hunts. Like this week it's take pictures of a bunch of different robots, and I did it all. I died a few times doing it, but it was fun. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. If you like that sort of thing.
We crossed this topic off our bucket list pretty quick. Got right to it. I think, Jen, you have the camera, obviously. I finally got it on Tuesday night after, like Andrew said, several days of trying. I tried Friday, Saturday, Monday, and then finally got it on Tuesday. and once you get it, I was kind of surprised how it worked. I think the reason they put it in there is because it's quick access photo mode. It just basically removes the UI and lets you zoom in real quick. So it's great for action shots, in the moment shots, and it's kind of more natural for people. Because whenever you start photo mode, you're often behind your character or at a weird angle or can't open the camera. Now, if you can see it, you can, photograph it.
Nice.
Yeah, I think the downside for me though is my photo roll is always full. So I have to go and delete stuff so I have room. So it feels like emptying the camera and then loading the film in again and then taking more pictures. So I'll get like the perfect shot and then it won't record because I've got too many pictures of me and Will doing stupid things. So,
And we do lots of stupid things.
we do so many dumb things. So no, hold that pose. I'm going to take a picture. And then I've got too many of them. I have like 15 pictures of Will standing on a log. And then I got to delete a bunch of them because Mothman was trying to kill me. So,
They expand our stash limit. What about our photo mode?
Right?
I'm
I need
dying
a bigger
for that.
photo
Yeah.
catalog.
Oh, of course you are. Yeah, I mean, they have all the room on PC because, it goes in a folder and you can move them, but we've only got our 40. Of course, the more Xboxes or PlayStations you have, the more photo room you have. So, pro tip, buy an extra console.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Well, what I do now is I go into photo mode and then I remove the overlay and then take a screenshot, and it's not as fun because I don't get to put it in my gallery, but I take so many photos, my gallery's unmanageable. So that's kind of the only way I can do it.
So direct to your PlayStation folder, just like some of us do direct to our Xbox folder now. Go into photo mode, set it up, but then take it with screen capture.
Yeah, and that's the thing that's killing me about the camera is I can't do that. I can't take the UI off and then screen cap it. I always have the camera stuff over top, so I need to keep my roll more.
Yep, or just go to traditional photo mode to get those. Hey, Lee mentioned something in chat that I want to see if you all are on the same page with yet. So he asked, how do you zoom on PC? And from what I understand so far, you can't actually zoom yet. They're going to add that, but we don't have it yet. Is that correct?
Zoom is available on PS4. It's the left bumper. If you've completed the quest and unlocked the 105 lens.
That's probably what it is. I'm only 5 out of 7 on the bucket list so far.
Right, right. Yeah, you can unlock, and apparently they're going to be unlocking more. Like I want like a 300 mil telephoto so I can like stand on the top of a mountain and take pictures of super mutants and stuff. But yeah, it's
as awesome as that is, that's forcing the game engine to render a little bit further when you're in photo mode, Like, it works with zoom, but you notice that when you zoom, a lot of times it's kind of they're very flat-looking textures.
Right.
So it might not translate to photo mode. I know, like, when I'm on PC, which I do sometimes play on PC too, not in 76, but in Skyrim, if you actually stop and zoom around, within a radius, you'll get nice, crisp textures, high def. But if you try to go too far outside of it, they get, more and more pixelated.
I wonder about depth of field with the camera though, like because we can turn it off when you're in photo mode, but you can't. I don't think you can do it. Well, you can't do it on a camera. Well, you can, but yeah, I wonder about that.
Yeah, I think even if you turn it off, like it would be less, no depth of field, but still on distant textures. But I mean, hopefully we get at least some zoom, like you're saying.
Yeah, it's I've been using it, and it's I was using it tonight, and then I didn't realize how close Mothman was, and I died. But yeah, it's fun to play with. I like the fun, weird things that they're adding to the game.
Did you just say you ran into Mothman again tonight?
I did. Vengeful. Two vengeful Mothman. I think I need to put that statue back in my camp.
Yeah, you've run into them twice in the last week or something.
A couple days, yeah. Okay. They're coming after me.
Explain to me again what brought this curse upon you?
I had ever since Mothman statue became available during the Mothman Fest, and I love Mothman. Such a huge fan. I built a little temple in my house, and then when I built Norman became a devotee of Mothman because she met him, and he was wise and kind just outside of Charleston Station. And then And so in my bunny mania, I had to start scrapping furniture. I scrapped walls. I scrapped everything I could. My house is like nails in the walls, naked, and in favor of all the bunnies. Just all the rabbits everywhere. There is I don't know if you saw it on the Twitter. There's like I have the Tower of Bun, I'm calling it. I haven't counted how many buns are in the tower, but it's like roadside attraction, the tallest tower of buns in Appalachia. Come see us. Come have
They
some
are
carrot
abundant.
soup. They are abundant, absolutely. So anyway, in all of that frenzy, and then the sheep squatch plushies, Andrew messaged me, have you seen this? And I was like, oh no. And I came home for lunch. I was actually home for lunch already. And then I went and bought that, and I had to scrap Mothman. And I think Mothman, it's only vengeful ones that I'm seeing. So I think Mothman is mad at me.
You've drawn his ire, yeah.
I have. I need to build 2 now, apparently.
You still have your secret temple room, don't you, or no?
Yeah.
No, it's gone.
Are you still at the location where the dead Brahmin were prophesied you should build?
Oh, you see, no, that's Norman. Norman still has her temple, and people are coming to the temple. And a stranger came up, and I beckoned him to the temple. He came in, praised Mothman by activating the statue, and then I invited him to play music. We had a little celebration. So yeah, I mean, Norman is cool with Mothman. It's just the character that is me, the Jen character, because my original beta character I built like me.
No, whenever I say my main character on the show, her name is Jess too. So I hear you.
Yeah. So Jen is in the bad books with Mothman. I need penance, or I need to like put up some bare light bulbs or something to attract friendly Mothman.
Launch an army of buns, to protect you.
I'm trying, but I need to give them weapons. If I could arm the buns with crossbows.
I'm excited to see this photojournal. Like as you create the story.
Yeah, it's I'm only in the sheep squatch have arrived at Camp Lapin, I'm calling it. The sheep squatch have arrived, and they're working with the buns now, and they're joining forces and starting a little mounted cavalry, and I think that they'll maybe have some adventures and workshops across the wasteland. We're not sure yet.
Oh, that'll be beautiful.
You have the sheep squatch plushies take your little bunnies down to the burning mine with their crossbows. And you can have hot cross buns.
Oh. Yeah, I'm writing that down.
Oh, please. Terrible. So, Will, Jen was saying that you guys have gotten into all sorts of shenanigans and crazy stuff, like picture mode or other things. What sort of silliness do you guys get up to?
Just whatever. It's like travel around. Exploring the world. Like we not too far from Norman's camp. They had just way northeast in the mire. Just kind of look around. We found this giant, tall, like fort. It's a tree house. And it's way up there, and we just kind of go run up there, and it has this plank that you can jump off for no reason because it looks like a diving board, but you just jump off and die. And so we just go up there and jump off and take pictures of each other doing that. There's silly things like that. But it's mostly, we find somewhere that's just got a cool scene or whatever. Oh, pictures. All right, we got to do this. And now this pose and now that pose. And just waste all sorts of time like that.
I don't know if you uploaded it recently or for it recycled back up recently, but I saw the, I don't know, you called it like the time hole or time.
Oh, the time tunnel?
The time tunnel, yeah.
Yeah, that's this little spot. It actually was an older picture. It's this spot. It's kind of by, I think, the old abandoned bog town or something like that around there. You go up in the little monorail thing, and there's the story is some guy up there was working on time travel, trying to prove that it was possible. It's like everyone thinks I was crazy, but I've almost got it. And then you go through that little opening there, and I don't know, all that really happens is you just start taking a bunch of radiation, but it makes for a good picture.
No, that's awesome. It's a really remarkable photo.
Oh, thank you.
Check it out in the Facebook group, everybody. Or I don't know. Sometimes I like to steal pictures from our group and post them in the Twitter, but I always ask people before I do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're always welcome to. I'm fine.
Yeah, I don't like to pretend like I'm taking credit for whatever. It's become like this whole art form, this the photo mode. Like there's a whole community revolving around it on Twitter. It's pretty amazing.
It really is. It's funny. I've started following several people that pretty much their whole Twitter account is devoted just to photo mode in Fallout 76. So it's interesting to look at all that.
Yeah, and Bethesda's really caught on to that too. With their other feature that they do around Appalachia every other week or so, where they're looking through hashtag Fallout 76 photos on Twitter, on Reddit, maybe on Facebook. They say social media, I don't know, and they're publishing some of them based on a theme and some of their favorites. So you keep putting those pictures out there and you hashtag them. Maybe they'll get on the blog.
Yeah. That's what I'm actually, I've been doing that a little bit because I had an old Twitter account that I neglected for 9 years or something. I hadn't even used it at all. And then I was just like, that would be a good place to start putting photos since I take so many. So I started doing that. But I not really very good with the social media stuff. I tend to forget, but I'm trying to get better.
I have roughly 3 tweets on my Twitter too, so I don't use it much. Leave that to Andrew for now, but I'm trying.
Yeah.
I don't know. I tag every once in a while and try to be like, hey, it exists. Jess is on Twitter too, you guys. Yeah, but I think you said you just created it for the when we did the Settler Save Carry event thing, right?
Yeah, yep, that's when I joined Twitter.
Yeah. It took me a long time before I started. I was I don't know. Will said 9 years. I don't know if it was that long, but I had a Twitter account for a very long time before I actually started ever like really using it. For some reason, I found it very hard. I don't know, not confusing, but just sort of not very user friendly. But once I figured it out, I was like, oh, this is actually really cool. but now I don't know. Again, I'm like done with it again. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean. It's so bizarre how it's truly a web, how everybody tags everyone. But I mean, you and I think Jenny's is Twitter too, But I mean, this isn't the Twitter tweet, so.
No, and it's because of the Fallout photo mode stuff. I saw Will tagging the photo mode stuff, and I was like, oh, you can do that? That's a thing? So I started doing it too, and it's just been a lot of fun to see everybody posting their stuff and learning about different things you can do through pictures. I'm all about the pictures. I like pictures.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really great to see what people are doing with their camps. There's a whole wild community. And I met other bunny fanatics today on Twitter, so I'm pretty excited about that. And yeah, it'll. I'm looking forward to more bunny hijinks with them. I'm hoping, but yeah, it's great.
Not to brush bunnies aside, but do we know anything coming up? Like, we have a release schedule in survival mode of like the cool legendary exclusive weapons that are available. Can we look ahead and see what's might be available in
the Atom Shop or whatever?
Yeah, they don't ever let you do that, right?
Not so much. I mean, they've done some foreshadowing in the whole look ahead previews for the different patches. They've been advertising their sales better, and they're definitely highlighting new items as they come. The only thing we have an idea of were, let's say, the horseman armor, the power armor skins.
Oh yeah, there'll be 4 of those, right?
Yeah, so we had Pestilence, now we've got War out, which is pretty cool. I think that's the one that Alex first said that was his favorite when he saw it. And there are a couple more coming. So we know that, and we have ideas for the rest, but they don't preview those.
That's pretty cool.
Sometimes they give...
Sorry, Bill. Sorry, Will.
No, I said sometimes they give a little bit away, like actually not too far ahead, but when you look at the previews in the Atomic Shop of just something else that they put out that's new, there might be like some kind of clothing or something in the background that's also not released yet, but will be out eventually. I've seen that a couple of times.
Yeah, and then all the speculators can go look at each individual pixel on the picture and try to find a clue.
Well, I just find it slightly. I don't. Again, not confusing, but I don't know, odd. I expected just which holidays they embrace. I can't tell what they're going to embrace and what they're not going to. This is like I fully expected a full length leprechaun outfit with a red beard and a green top hat for St. Patrick's Day, and I don't know, are they worried about like Irish bashing or something? Like,
No,
why-
I don't think so. And we did get Biv right around that time, right?
Yeah.
Not long thereafter.
Yeah, you're right.
Once upon a time, there was a brain in a jar, and he lived happily ever after.
I love Biv.
But yeah, I don't know. I mean, we can always guess. We know that they'll embrace the patriotic holidays, right?
Yeah. And I know those people who got the Tricentennial edition got the cool Uncle Sam outfit. I would rock the hell out of that, especially if they gave you some sort of mod and mutation where you could put some like stilts on it and be like the Uncle Sam of like parades for my youth.
That'd be awesome, yeah.
Yeah, I love a white and red striped top hat.
Yeah, that was my favorite
Cool.
Foxnock pick, the one we got where we had Uncle Sam running around with us.
Yeah, but that's a really awesome outfit. I don't know if I necessarily wear the giant
Mascot head?
mascot head, but I really do like the costume a lot. So it's just, I don't know. Halloween, of course, they did with the skeleton mask and everything, but you know, how about Thanksgiving? Give me a pilgrim costume. We have the Civil War stuff's kind of similar, but not the same. I'd love an old collared style New England, colonies outfit garb. That'd be sweet. A musket? Oh, fucking musket! Come on.
They already had muskets. In 4.
We have those black powder. That's close.
Yeah, and the blunderbuss.
The blunderbuss, yeah.
If you can find one, that's a pretty rare one.
Well, yeah, I think I picked it up once and I don't have it anymore. What is that like? I remember it not like being, oh god, cool, and then it not being horribly impressed. I probably didn't have the right cards loaded or whatever. But what is that in this game?
The blunderbuss?
Yeah.
Oh,
See, in different games, it's sort of like is presented in slightly different variations in different games that I've seen the blunderbuss pop up in. Sometimes it's like basically a junk jet type of thing. Sometimes it shoots bones. Sometimes it's made of bones itself. Like
Yeah, no.
What does it actually mean? What is that word, and what does it imply for a weapon?
I think it's just a big old muzzle loader like any of the black powder guns. But a blunderbuss is traditionally a little bit closer to like a shotgun, I think, where it's kind of stuffed. It's less accurate. It's like a sawed-off shotgun. So single load, muzzle load with a big old ball coming out.
So would the shotgun perks help that, or would it be just like a pistol?
No, it counts as a pistol. Yeah, the actual stats in this game, it's a non-automatic pistol. You can it's got a fire rate of 2, but only 1 at a time. So it's wicked slow.
Oh god.
But kind of like the regular black powder pistol, you do a lot of damage, so it can be worth it as a backup weapon. I had a day in a nuke zone. My main character probably about a week and a half ago, and my pug cannon died, so I had to switch to sorry, that's my shotgun's name now. Yay for naming!
Yay!
and I was in the nuke zone with that black powder pistol for probably 30 minutes. Just running backwards, shooting the glowing ones till they fell. And I got some teasing. I got trolled by a guy who was watching. Poor little Jessica running from the monsters. Blah, 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 blah. But whatever. I showed him. I took him down.
Yeah, what's his problem? Fuck that guy.
He thought he was funny. I didn't. But I took him down. He was hiding on top of a bus, so
Yeah.
I found a medic's black powder rifle. It is my favorite thing to take into a nuke zone because it gives me, I think it's 205 damage resistance while I'm reloading. And it takes forever to reload. So I'm backpedaling like crazy and just kind of like like dodging all the attacks until it's ready, and then I explode with 180 damage, and then backwards again.
That's
beautiful.
Really nice.
I never thought about that. That's like the perfect legendary to go along with that weapon.
It's great because poor Norman has the empath mutation.
The only thing better would be like if it was multiple start and you got like faster reload speed or something. That would be
great.
It's probably done through a card though, right? Is there a mutation or anything that does that?
Faster reload. There's a card for faster reload on your pistols and automatic weapons. I know because I've been using them, but I don't know about that one.
Can't you mod your?
Yeah, there are mods for faster reloads on individual weapons.
You can mod your pistols to be faster reload.
Yeah, I've been hoping to find a quad dragon sometime. I figured that'd be nice to have 4 shots with that.
Yeah, we've been finding the quads a lot more lately. We talked about that in the Xbox group about a week ago. We're getting a quad all kinds of things, but we really want like a quad black powder pistol or a quad, just something ridiculous, like a little cannon in your hand.
Yeah. Will, what did you find for me that I'm going to get later?
Oh, it was a quad crossbow.
Yes.
A quad crossbow?
Yes, I've been rocking the crossbow and it takes forever to load, but
when I first saw the quad stuff popping up, my brain almost jumped out of my head because I was misunderstanding what they were saying. What does this quad legendary event actually mean, Will?
It's it quadruples the ammo capacity. So like I was saying, I was looking for the quad dragon. That means you would get 4 shots before you have to reload. And anything else. Like if it normally has 10 rounds, you would have 40 rounds to shoot.
I for a second there I thought it shot 4 projectiles. Like a 4 shot.
Oh, that would be so good.
It's like, wait, they're nerfing the 2. Why are they adding a 4? Right on. So tonight on the show, we're going to get into dropping some nukes. We'll also get into some character introductions and maybe some Inside the Vault news. I got a chance to read through just a little bit of it. There's some exciting stuff going on in this Inside of the Vault. A lot of the stuff that we've been looking forward to for quite a while seems like they're popping up. Do we have any landing dates for any of these things that are coming up, Jess? Are they actually in the next update, and is that update next Tuesday like usual, or?
Okay, I am back.
Oh, sorry.
It's the I think I read the 7th for
Yeah, so are we talking about update 9 now?
Yes. Andrew was asking when.
Yeah.
Okay, so upcoming stuff. Yeah, update 9 is the one we've talked about because they've done like 3 previews on that one now. It is scheduled for May 7th, and the latest one talked about some of our favorite things. So last week, you might remember I was skeptical. I was getting worried about player vending because they hadn't mentioned it since April 4th.
Mm-hmm.
But player vending was mentioned finally in this patch. Have you guys got into it all yet, or?
Yeah, I read it a little bit today. I was at work, so I had to go quickly through it, but I saw some of it.
Yeah, so I'm exciting. It will be a vending machine like we thought. You can assign items from your stash to it for sale. So you're going to assign the item, you're going to set the price, and then it'll show for anyone who comes and wants to buy it at your camp. Also, when you have a vending machine online, it's going to be advertising for you. So if you have a vending machine online on your camp and you're not wanted, your camp will show on the map. And if they hover over it, they're going to see item categories for sale and general prices. I don't know if they're going to show all the details, they didn't say, but it'll show some basic details so people can come by your camp, check out your machine. Plus, looking at the design of it on the blog, it actually looks like, on the new loading screen, that's been kind of that platform patio area.
Mm-hmm.
People were wondering where that was when it was going to show up. So it looks a lot like the lockers and stuff we saw on the left side of that I couldn't identify.
Right.
So that's actually really exciting. Glad to have the player vending finally with all the stuff we've been holding on to. Plans
Yeah.
that we have, all of our plan trades, we can now start to sell them. Ammo we've had, hopefully we can start to sell that. That's going to be great.
I really hope you can sell ammo, but are they actually going to allow us to do that? They seem so concerned about breaking their economy, or however they phrase it. They keep using a specific phrase about like
they did
or something.
They did have a line in the inside the vault this week where they said they're going to take a 10% nominal fee. So they're acting like Steam or Amazon or something to help maintain the economy.
They're clipping a little off the top. They're like putting a percentage on the VIG here. What are they doing?
And who's it going to? Is it being filtered into the White Springs economy? Who knows? What are we doing with it?
Or just charge 10% more.
It's just server maintenance. It's not real money. I mean, come on.
Yeah, so I don't really understand how that will help at all. I think maybe when they say protect the economy with the 10% thing, they're doing that so that people don't put the prices too low, maybe, like trading stuff for one, or I don't know. We'll find out. But they also talked about the legendary vendor finally. Did you guys see that at all?
Yes, very exciting. Yeah,
I saw that.
Read over that too, yeah.
I saw, I don't know if there's going to be different vendors. Like, I think they said different vendors' name, but I was actually online last night, and I saw I ran across Graham, and it said Legendary Graham.
Oh, that's happened off and on for a while.
Yeah, has it?
Anybody in the any creature in the game, NPC or creature, can generate as legendary. So sometimes you get legendary Graham, sometimes you get legendary Son of Fluffy, or legendary what else? Oh, Mr. Prizebot.
Okay, yeah. I didn't know that. I was wondering, it's like, is he going to be one of the legendary vendors? When the patch comes out, and I tried to look to his inventory, and there was nothing good in there, like always. But
yeah, so there's actually no difference to legendary Graham. But what they're doing with update 9 on the 7th, they're not having a legendary vendor available right away, but they are introducing the legendary exchange machines. So all the items we've been hoarding in our stash that we've talked about, you'll be able to trade in at these machines that'll be at train stations. And based on the number of stars, 1 stars, 2 stars, 3 stars, you get legendary chits, or script they're calling them. And so once you get enough script from turning in things, you'll then be able to take those to the legendary vendor, which we still assume is going to be near Berkeley Springs, but not sure, the mole miner vendor. And you'll be able to trade them and buy legendaries there from him. So it's a mix of what we thought about. It will be exchanging legendaries for points to buy, but I bet the ratio is going to be a whole bunch of legendary items traded in for one actual new legendary that you want.
Yeah.
When they refer to the vendor in the article, they refer to it as her. When she's coming to town, like you can have all these things ready for when she's coming to town. I was like, oh, that's interesting, a female mole miner.
Yeah. We don't know if that'll look any different.
Yeah.
Still wearing the same outfit, but yeah, they're saying it's going to be a female vendor, so maybe she'll be named. It's exciting. More NPCs.
No, I'm totally excited because, all right, we've been waiting and waiting and waiting for this to happen. At least I have, this legendary, and I'm glad I hung on to all the stuff that I did. But it's been, like I was talking about last week on the show, it's like crippling my character to the point where it's like sucking the fun out of the game at this point, because I like have 0 space and I'm always over encumbered, and I have to get in my power armor just to fast travel and move around. I like can't do anything.
Yeah, it was so bad last Friday when you were doing that before the nuke launch, and we were running around together. You had to put on your power armor every time. You had to drop stuff. But after we killed the queen, you went and you sold a whole bunch of your legendaries, which is good. Do you finally have space yet, or are you still right on the edge?
I sold a bunch of legendary items, and then the other day I actually went and did a huge legendary item purge to a mule over to my other beta character. So I finally just created like 300 pounds of space just by getting rid of like 2 and 3 star legendary items. I basically either sold or dropped all of the 1 star legendary items.
Yep. With all the nuke stuff you did this week, though, and I know we'll get into that later, you must still be generating a whole bunch more legendaries as you go.
I would think it's weird because we tried to nuke the burrows a bunch. So we did a bunch of, and I tried to hit a bunch of nukes. I tried to launch a bunch, and actually only actually ended up successfully launching one. A week I attempted like 3 times. Those fucking key cards.
Yeah, the first two failed. But before we leave the update section, the last thing I want to mention are the display cases. So, we've been also saving Mr. Fuzzies and other level creatures. Well, Jen's been sacrificing them.
Oh my god, so many.
But some of us have been saving them in our staff.
R.I.P.
They're always more. They're an infinite resource, thank goodness. And so they do say that item displaying a camp is still coming, but it's not going to be quite like we'd hoped, like being able to put them all on tables and around your camp. It sounds like they're going to be in display cases. So I don't know what the variety will be, but it'll be fixed objects where you can put your bobbleheads or your fuzzies or what have you and show them in your camp in various places. And that's not on the 7th. That's still to come, but they talked about it today.
Right. Yeah, that sounds a little disappointing. Actually,
yeah, I know.
Yeah, but can you imagine? I mean, in 3, and in 4, you'd pick up things and then put them down. I remember I spent an entire afternoon trying to balance a Nuka-Cola bottle on a table in Megaton. And then when I got it done, I was like, yes, now for all the gnomes. So I gathered all the gnomes in my house. Looks really terrifying. I should take a picture and post it. But it was, you'd be able to drop it, and it would stay there. But in 4, you do that, and then your camp, or not your camp, your settlement would reload, and then things would fall through the floor.
Yeah.
I lost my junk jet that way because I put it in one of the racks and it just like disappeared through the wall.
It's almost like there's an impact from just loading into an area, opening a door, walking through with the physics. But I think we were hoping for something in between where you could get like items that had a bunch of attachment points where you could attach a fixed point, or just once you set it down in your camp and placed it, it was now stuck there. Like the way that we actually build things in Fallout 4 mods and stuff when you can get a table that has already got a sort of junk on it. Such.
Right. Yeah, it's probably going to be like the weapon mounts in 4.
Yeah,
that mounts up on the wall, and the display cases never worked well for me. But like the magazine racks and stuff like that,
or like the mannequins that walked on their own.
Yeah. I used to like to run past my Silver Shroud outfit because it would flutter in the ambient breeze. Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, that would be cool to display outfits and stuff, and to have different outfits put together.
Yeah, mannequins would be really nice. I'd like to. Will, what are you going to display in your display case out of all this junk and garbage and crap we've been picking up this whole time?
Gorgeous treasures, Andrew. Treasures.
It's beautiful items.
Yeah.
One man's trash is another man's treasure, or something like that.
I don't know that I'll display too much. That's why I was saying it was disappointing, because that feels like you're supposed to put weapons or whatever in there. I was just looking forward to decorating, like being able to put plates on tables and things like that.
Yeah.
So I don't know that there's anything I want to just like show off in a display case.
I can just see how that's going to bring out the crazy obsessive compulsive collector in me, if that's allowed, because then I'll be perusing the Xbox group, being like, all right guys, if you come across a gold knife, I need a gold knife from the center set. Please collect all the gold silverware you can find, because I need the knife.
Yeah. I might get into like some kind of Knuckles collection. I collect Knuckles in the game for some reason. Maybe I could display all the Knuckles. Yeah,
that's fun. What tell me about your Knuckles. What's going on with your Knuckles?
I just my character, my main character is an unarmed character, and like mostly she uses a Deathclaw gauntlet, but I like the Knuckles quite a bit, and for a different one, it's like a slightly lower power weapon, and then they all have their different things. So I want the Mutant Slayer Knuckles for when I'm fighting super mutants over by Grafton Steel, or if I'm ghouls, I get the Ghoul Slayers. I just all the different ones and try to use them for their intended purposes.
Do you have a favorite legendary effect? I mean, besides this one does more damage to that bad guy.
Well, no, like I guess I have this just the 40% faster swing.
Oh, yeah,
would
that's
be,
perfect. That's,
I mean, that covers everything, but
that's essential.
that's wonderful.
Yeah, those are always great. The like 40% extra power damage makes me use power. I never use the power attack if I don't like. Then like, oh wow, 40% extra power damage. Let's use that a little bit, and it fucking destroys. It
works really well. I only just started using that. I used to get upset almost. It's like, oh, 40% power damage, that's a waste.
Yeah.
And finally I started using it. It's like, wow, that's pretty good, you know. So
it's pretty great. I also thought it took me a while to start using that too. I always, whenever I saw that effect, I bet you I've tossed aside a bunch of good weapons with that effect just because I was like, oh, whatever. But I decided to pick one up and use it for a while. I was like, wow, this is actually really nice.
Yeah, the way it uses the grenade button, you know, I kind of feel like I have to choose. You know, I go to use grenades, I power attack. I go to power attack, I use grenades. So I just think of it as grenades. But power attack is effective, and super mutants do it to you. Might as well return the favor for once.
I don't have grenades loaded. I don't really use grenades. How does it work if you're trying to do power attack and you have grenades loaded? How does it?
It's a press and hold for grenade versus just tap for power attack.
Okay, gosh, that's dangerous.
Hey, a little heads up, shout out to the Wild Wasteland. I just got word that one of our friends in the chat, it was mentioned one of our group members, Angel, is actually broadcasting the show live.
Oh my gosh.
Through in-game chat. You choose in-game chat to Appalachia.
Hello, West Virginia.
That's pretty awesome. Innovative. Impressive. Broadcasting for that Yao Guai over there.
Mole Rat Radio.
Yeah. Now's your chance to apologize to the Mothman, Jen.
I'm so sorry, Mothman. I will put the statue back. I will praise you every play session.
Mothman has team chat on. He can't hear you. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm a little excited, though. I get to see him more often now, though. Even if he kills me, it's a terrible, sad relationship we have.
Oh, and I meant to ask earlier, where are you running into him? Because that is one of the last legendary like cryptid things that I need to kill. I know that I've killed a lot of them, especially during that Mothman crazy week that they had, but I have not. I don't see them ever. The only one I see is the wise Mothman, and he's nice. You know, you don't kill that one.
Someone tried to kill him at the lighthouse event. A bunch of people who helped me summon him, and I kept throwing myself between Mothman and their bullets to stop them. They didn't like that very much.
Can they actually do damage to him?
Yeah.
Oh wow! I thought for some reason Wise Mothman was just you just commune with him and chill.
No, he's pretty damage resistant. But I saw the last one was down by the Miners Monument.
Mm-hmm.
That was today, and my camp is up near. Oh, what is that train station again? It's the
Sunny Top.
No? Thank you. Yeah, Sunny Top. That's right. So my camp is just right between the ski lodge and the train station at Sunny Top at the end of the rail path.
During the Mothman week, my camp was within the circle was a Mothman spawn point. So I saw basically every time I fast traveled home or loaded into the game, a Mothman spawn for like a week straight. It was crazy.
I still see them off and on, but I've still never fought one. You know, I'll see a Vengeful or one of the others. I get near and, you know, they flutter away in the smoke and darkness. And I've been photobombed by Mothman. In fact, first time I ever saw Mothman was when I killed my first grafted monster. And when I looked at the photo after, I saw the Mothman in the back, just kind of staring at me. Yeah, that was my first encounter. So
that's really creepy because that's sort of like his stilo, right? Isn't that what the Mothman does? Sort of like pops up before or like during weird events and
little omen. Yeah.
He was probably warning me of the forthcoming addiction to Fallout 76 then.
Yeah. That's awesome, though, that you saw him in the background. The first one I got was a stalking Mothman, and he stalked me, and I had heard all the stories about people, communing with Mothman. So I walked right up to him, no sneak, just walked right up, wanted to hug him, and he killed me, like one shot kill.
Yeah. I remember during that Mothman week, Rebecca kept getting upset because she had moved her camp up there by where that dog is. Running loose. It's wild. So she put it there, but the vengeful Mothman kept spawning there and killing her dog.
Yeah.
And she's like, "My dog's dead again." She's all angry.
Yeah, she kept having to go and defend her camp because Mothman was trashing her stuff.
Yeah, and Mothman doesn't care about walls. Mothman doesn't care about turrets. Yeah. But,
doesn't care about plushies at all. He tore a bunch of mine down.
But he hasn't destroyed them, so maybe he respects plushies at least.
Yeah. More than me, because I died.
I'd love a Mothman plushie, right?
Why don't we have one?
I know that there's you said there's a statue, right? I've only ever seen the Deathclaw one. There's a Mothman statue too, you said?
Yeah, and you click on it, and it dissolves in a little tornado of black moths.
Oh, I love
that. And then it reforms again with a whoosh. So it's
does that give you like any sort of AP, XP, some sort of hunger, thirst boost, something?
Just a thrill. It's just a burst of joy.
Still, that's pretty great.
Pure adrenaline.
Yeah.
Does the Deathclaw one do something if you click on it?
No, it's just a little mini statue. The Deathclaw one's small. Like it's like the same as the Power Armor one. So those are more little desktop. Whereas the Mothman she's talking about is player height. It's just like the one in it looks just like the one in Point Pleasant.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I found one in the wild at a camp 2 days ago. There was a camp I hadn't seen before near Ron's tower, and I went over and he had a Mothman set up outside, so I was playing with it for a little bit.
I don't think I've seen it. Do any of our buddies in our Xbox group have that?
Craig might, but I don't know. I don't know.
That's crazy. I'll have to ask about that. That's awesome. I'd like to see that.
I'll probably end up getting one eventually. It's atoms. Okay. Yeah. So I bought atoms for the second time last week.
Yeah.
Yes. I paid for my atoms. It's there are just so many things I want coming out lately. All the sales at the beginning of Wild Appalachia taxed me out of my free atoms. And I need camps, I need floor stuff, I need lights. And so I wanted what just came out? I'll have to look it up. I'll have to go back and take a look at what came out. But there were a couple things I wanted. Oh, including the fancy bar set that just came out.
Oh yeah, that's gorgeous.
Yeah.
So
people in the group commenting on that. What's that like?
Well, it looks similar to the bar set inside of the Nukashine, or in White Springs, actually, more like all the White Springs stuff. It's got the ornate kind of mahogany, nice benches and bar stools and the little stand behind. It's just classy. Yep.
Some said there's a punch bowl too.
Mm-hmm.
And leave people's stuff out for it. That sounds pretty sweet.
Yeah, I haven't tried it yet. I picked it up, but I haven't tried it. There are so many things in the Atom Shop. I was so close day before yesterday, I was so close to spending money, but I figured I would try to complete some more quests to see if I can get enough. I want the Mothman Power Armor paint job for Norman.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. She's Brotherhood and also a Mothman fanatic.
Is that I assume from your comment that it's still around. How long do Power Armor scans typically stick around?
I hope for long, because I need it, and it's 1,400 atoms or something.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's where they kind of all start. The ones that cover multiple. We've had some Power Armor skins around since January, and then others that have only been there for a couple weeks. Like this Nukashine one that just came out is also gorgeous. I think that's my favorite one I've seen in a while. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want both those that are in there right now. It's killing me. but because it's 2,800 atoms to get the 2 if you want it. It's a lot.
Hmm.
But I've completely given in. I've bought several times from the Atom Store, despite my early rantings that it was way overpriced and all that. I've just given in.
And since the sales is not as overpriced, I always said I want atoms to go on sale so that
Yeah.
Because if atoms are on sale, it equals everything in the store being some percentage off. But they're doing enough items now that I keep coming back.
Right. Yeah. And some of the sales are pretty good. So they're worth it.
I've cashed in real money once. Christmas season when all I really wanted was the Santa, the beard and hat, but they bundled it up for $20. They didn't want anything to get out, and then so I got the Santa one, and there was also the Elf bundle. I also wanted to get that one, but I never ended up doing that. But I've put real money in there. I can kind of tell by the way Jess said it. There's like, oh, I bought more atoms again. Like, do we feel a little bit of atoms shame if we have to use our real money to do?
I do.
Yeah.
Why do we
Ever so
feel
slightly.
that shame? What is wrong with? I mean, everyone says it's evil to play the nickel and dime game, the microtransaction, that's the death by 1,000 paper cuts. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why we feel.
Why do we feel shame about that?
Maybe because of the overall feel of putting more money in a game for DLC, like nickel and diming, like the Atom Shop does, is just maybe something they would rather have it in the game. But yeah, I guess I shouldn't necessarily feel shame. It's a full price game, but I don't mind paying money off and on. I mean, we've always said if we'd give extra money to anyone, and be Bethesda for all the hours of enjoyment we get from their games. So
Yeah.
no, I don't really feel shame. I've put $20 in, $10
Yeah.
twice. That's no big deal.
If this was Fallout 4, we would have spent $40 on DLC already anyway. So you can think you've saved money in that sense.
Yeah, I feel like we're supporting them for all of the extra content we keep getting. I'll buy more plushies. I'll do it.
That's why I like that's how I justify it too. It's just I spent so much time in this game that the value is there for me to just increase my enjoyment of it. Like,
Yep.
whenever.
I'll buy more floors and lights because I just love it. I cannot stop.
You
Yeah, I'm a
guys
sucker for the
convinced
camp
me.
stuff.
I'm gonna buy my power armor set. I need it.
Oh, you know what I'm really
Yeah.
excited about? Because you know how expensive the neon letters plan is, and so we've only got
Yes.
little white letters, and then there are ways we've been able to kind of fake things in the game. I'm working on a project right now using other items to kind of make my own letters, but they have those marquee letters in the shop now, which are awesome. 700 atoms. I think I'm going to get them. That's way cheaper than 9,600 caps in my real world to Fallout
Yeah.
conversion.
So some of the letters are busted on them, I've seen. So
Yeah, that
like
makes
the
it a little
R
hard.
doesn't have that bottom stick on it, so it looks like a P
Mhm.
when you're far away. So you have to put additional light on it. That's what I've learned.
Oh, that makes sense. So kind of
Yeah.
illuminate it from the side or top to show it up.
Yeah, everything's a little broken because, nuclear fallout and stuff.
Is that on purpose, or do you think that's something they'll patch eventually?
Oh no, that's on purpose.
Totally.
Yeah. The thing that's silly about it, they did that Friends Welcome sign with the marquee lettering just a week ago, and I bought that. So I put the caps to buy that, and now they're a marquee letter. So I could have made my own Friends Welcome sign and everything else.
Ugh.
Oh, that's too bad. All right, guys. Well, oh wait, I do see one more crazy interesting note here. Were you guys mentioning an attack Brahmin earlier?
Mm-hmm. Well,
What is
take it.
going on with the
Yeah.
attack Brahmin?
Well, we were doing the Sheep Squatch event, free range, and so we were just herding the
Oh, yeah.
Brahmin up along like you're supposed to, and all of a sudden these other 3 Brahmin come running down the hill, and we're like, why are there extra Brahmin? And then they just started attacking us and everything, and so we had to kill Brahmin to defend the other Brahmin. And I was like, no, it's
That's
very
amazing.
sad.
Yeah, I've never killed a Brahmin before till tonight.
Yeah.
I feel so. But they were named. They were like Beatrice and stuff. Like they
Oh,
weren't
they're-
ours, the ones we were supposed to be protecting. Homer was running way ahead, but they were named Brahmin
Yeah.
coming
it was just
after us.
interesting.
Did you milk them, Will, by accident?
No, I didn't do anything. They just
sure?
ran up. They were hostile because I could see they were in red. Like how the enemies, the names and stuff are in red. It
Yeah.
was in red running down the hill at us. So,
You had named attack Brahmin during the
Yes.
during the Squatchin event?
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh my goodness. They're so mad people have failed to protect them so many times.
Oh no, we had mad cows.
they are hard to defend.
It's a disease. Yeah,
And with two heads, they're twice as susceptible.
that's true.
Extra jugulars, yeah.
It was traumatizing.
Yeah, especially, because I think I have the same approach you do, Jess, where all the peaceful animals, I try to leave them alone. Like I do not kill Brahmin ever.
Nope.
Nothing that attacks me. The rad stags, as long as they keep their, if they don't attack, they get to live. Everything.
Exactly.
So,
Let the opossums run free,
yeah.
Yep, that's right. Except for during Flash Night when you need their intestines, then everybody's fair game.
Not me. I didn't. I
I
wasn't
know.
doing it. I was like,
Will
sorry, we're
wasn't
gonna
doing
fail
it,
this
and I was
event.
like,
I'm not
Will,
killing the squirrels.
Don't listen, Will. I'll turn down the volume. Don't listen. And they'd hear them screaming. I can hear it, Jen. No, don't listen.
Oh, Will, you get sausages. I mean, come on, sausages.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good.
I'm kind of upset that they took that squirrel spawn point away when Fashnacht ended.
Yeah, I mean, we have the recipes, but we don't have the intestines. Has anyone found anywhere to get intestines?
No.
So that's just kind of a little sad void in our in our recipes for now.
Our sausage free lives.
I hear Jen has a bunch of bunnies.
Hey now, they're made of cloth, so I don't know.
Oh.
One can get awful hungry in the apocalypse. I don't know.
It's true. It's true. Well, there are rabbits around.
True.
And yeah, and you can get rabbit legs off of them.
And cats and such, but I haven't seen any intestines. And like Will's saying, I don't attack the animals if I can help it.
Yeah.
If I'm going down to Cowtown, it's just to milk them.
Have you been kicked by any of the cows yet?
No. Do they kick you?
Yes.
No,
If you spam the milk button, they will kick back.
Oh, I'm always gentle on the udders.
Not like I know from experience or anything.
It's not like a water pump where you want to spam it and get as much water as you can.
That's right. I tried.
Come on, cow.
If you're on the business end of a cow, it'll kick you. Just
Which
like
end
it.
is the business end? I mean, they move from one, they kick from another. The bottom is where you get the milk from.
It's
Oh,
true.
I
It's
think
true.
yeah, that's the best cut. So I'm just saying, it's all business all the time. Well, maybe party in the back.
Oh, I don't know. Oh, that's funny.
Jesse brought up your water pump trick that you showed me that I really like. Another one of your things that you showed me that I also enjoy was the floor electricity pylon thing that people keep popping questions up about. I thought that we talked about on the show. I guess we've only mentioned it in the group before.
No.
Is that something that you would like to describe?
I think we have talked about the rug trick before. I feel like we did on the show once, maybe when you first built your tiny house. And we talked about it in Xbox chat and then in the group today for a little while with, I think Eric was having some trouble with it. But yeah, it's just a classic rug trick, rug and then an electrical connector, hook a wire to it from a generator at an available spot so that everything's together. Click the rug and move it just a foot or so the wire stays connected. And once you do that, the game thinks that the wire, the pylon, the rug are kind of all one piece, so it forgets about the wire. So then if you click and move the rug again, you can move it anywhere in your camp, pretty much, and the wire will stay connected through walls and such. So that's a great way to run wire through foundations if you're doing a multi-foundation camp, or through the walls if you've got a lot of high walls and you don't have the advanced power connectors.
Yeah.
You can also use the signs to do it too. I mean, it's better to use the rugs, obviously, but you can use the signs if you have to use a wall if you don't have floor space.
The sign on the wall one, exactly. You just it works best with the tall, the 4 foot high power connector, as opposed to the little tiny conduit ones on the rug. But you can do the conduit ones on the sign and move that.
Yeah.
Very nice.
So just a tip. Great if you're having trouble with the conduit.
I could never get it to work because I was always just trying to like put a nodule on the wall and then put another one on the outside of the wall. I just didn't find the one that there was like, oh, there is a special connector piece that will pop a nodule all the way through the wall that'll push through the wall for you. I didn't even know that piece existed until today. So now that I know that piece exists.
Well, and you didn't have advanced power connectors for the longest time too.
Yeah, no. Yeah. I got those a few weeks ago.
Yeah, I've just been watching like some videos recently of conduits and everything they do. They're quite useful in a lot of ways. You can start like you can get float things in the air using conduits and different things. So there's a lot of really neat tricks you can start to do with them once you understand them all.
What do you mean float things in the air? Expand on that a little bit.
So like a bunch of things can attach to the conduit. You can put almost, I don't know why I say chairs. It's the first thing that comes to mind, but you can put a lot of things on the chairs, like onto a conduit somehow. And once you start a conduit from the ground, you can maybe bring that bar up into the air. Like, I don't know if you've seen where people make railings with conduits to look like a handrail, and so they get them in the air, but you can kind of remove all the side pieces of the conduit and the conduit will stay floating, and you can have whatever you want attached to that will just still stay there in the air. So people will like attach hanging lights and things like that from just a conduit up in the air without really having to figure out a place to mount it and different things. There's a lot you can do.
They used to prevent that. They seem to lighten up on that a little bit, right? Where not everything absolutely has to be grounded, so to say.
Yeah, from what I hear, like I haven't explored too much with that. Like I know you're talking about like where now it's just as long as you have the one foundation set, a lot of the others can hang off and whatnot.
Like because that was always one of the fun things to do with your buildings was to like build from a foundation up and then remove the thing from below and then have a secret access.
Yeah.
Fallout 4 to have like a cool little way up or whatever, but they didn't want us to do that, at least early on in the game. Now they say it's no big deal again for some reason.
Letting us a little bit more. Yeah, it still needs to be anchored, but you can always do the trick now in your game where you don't need to have a door. You can go into build mode, delete a wall, go in, put the wall back, so other people don't have access to your camp.
Yeah.
Hey, I was going to say, I have a question. Have you guys, something I like to do, and apologies, this might sound a little bit voyeuristic, but I like getting into people's camps when they don't want you to. So like not busting anything, but people are putting like these level 3 locks on their doors and or setting up keypads with codes, and but have you figured out that you can get in through camps via Windows a lot?
Tell me more.
Okay, so you know how when you activate any kind of crafting bench or playable item like an instrument, it shows the animation of you moving up to it and getting on it. If you can find a window on a camp and click, say, the piano inside or select the crafting bench, it'll warp you through the window. And another trick I've found is, how foundations have like a little bit of bubble around them where you can kind of float? So if you find a camp on a ledge and there's no way to get in, if you kind of walk along the foundation and use that bubble, hug the wall, you get around to the back and get in through a window back there. It's something I've been playing with the last couple of weeks. Just I like checking out camps, and I'm curious what'll ever happen if someone comes home and finds me in their camp. I figure the Mongols can get in, without any doors. I should be able to too.
That's like breaking and entering, Jess.
Yeah. I know. It's for research purposes. I want to see that clip.
Right.
Would that power armor trick work going through walls like that if there's not something on the other side? Where
Ooh.
where you release a power armor, like you're getting into it and it kind of warps your body like forward into the power armor.
Yeah, if you have enough room to place it through the window. You can't always find the floor when you do that, but yeah, if you can, that works too.
Do you ever have trouble getting out
Oh,
after you get in? Have you ever been locked into a place?
not yet, but I have ended up in a camp and found somebody sleeping, and I'm like, tiptoe,
Fuck.
crouch mode, tiptoe out. They're usually AFK when that happens. I've gotten lucky, but yeah, twice that's happened. But no, I've never gotten locked in because usually there's like a pressure plate or they have some mechanism themselves for getting out.
Nice.
I need to buy that new covert ops suit.
A balaclava is what you need.
Yeah, I can't do that. I get all nervous just at everybody's camp, anything. Like even if I just go to a Jen's camp, I stay by the workbenches, all that stuff. It's like, well, I can't go up, by the bedroom. That's a private area. So it's like,
That's why I built
like
you
I'm
your own
intruding.
room.
I know I have my own little guest cottage.
You have your own like little reserved spot for you at her.
I built him it was such a far away, and we were with Hazel and Norman, we were leaving from my camp a lot, and I'm way out in the top of the map, so he couldn't get his XP buff from sleeping because he would never go upstairs. So I built him a little room with a bed and a classical radio.
Oh, that's great.
Thank you.
My pleasure. It was fun to do.
You could build him a punch bowl.
Yeah, that's next. We're gonna have some, events and stuff at the Mothman Temple. So I think a punch bowl. Although I don't know if it's full of Kool-Aid. I'm not sure anybody's gonna want to drink it in my temple. It's got pews and everything. I should post a
That's
picture.
great. And how? Oh man, this has so much potential. So what do you think you could vend with player vending at your temple?
Oh, I don't know.
You sell bunnies?
No, well, see, so my Jen
They're a
character,
comic shop, so you can't.
my beta character is gonna have just carrots and carrot soup in her vending machine. I'm pretty sure. It's the camp, it's the rabbit camp. So, but I don't know, maybe 8 items. I think like crafted food and stuff like that'll go bad, right? Eventually.
Yeah, because it's linked to items in your stash, so I imagine food would go bad. So you'd have to restock it regularly. But that'd be awesome, and it'd make it like a restaurant. Come in, time to make the donuts. Get them out, get them in for the morning, and go on your way.
Maybe rat-away and disease cure.
Do you make chems a lot? Are those things you craft frequently?
No, I'm just thinking of what would work in there. I make ammo a lot because I'm automatic weapons. So
yeah.
Fancy people who go to nuke zones all the time putting flux for those of us who don't. Then they'll be at capacity and they'll be like, my flux capacitor. But everybody has some rare items they can do. Maybe some people will like make heavy combat armor or like really powerful guns with mods and get them set up there for people. But I imagine it'll be mostly legendary and then a few 8 items. And like I said, I'm doing plans and ammo.
Yeah, I've been trying to collect the serum recipes to sell like the serums.
Ooh.
Oh, that's a good idea. So tell me about acquiring the serum recipes. How do you do that?
Well, they don't. I think they got rid of the way where you would get it from the Scorched Beast Queen. They used to just very, very rarely drop the recipes from her when you complete the Scorched Earth event. So the only way I know to get the recipes now is you have to just buy them from the Enclave vendor, and they're roughly 20,000 caps each. But I've been working away at it. I look at it as an investment for when the player vending does come. I don't have that many yet, but I'm trying to get there.
So you're definitely one of the do the vendor loop every day to caps. Yeah.
And now I have a really easy just way to get the 1400 cap from everyone. I used to go around doing the thing, sell all whatever the boring 1-star legendary weapons and all that. But now I can go through. I go through West Tech, and I kill all the super mutants, and I take all those assault rifles and charging sniper rifles and everything. And my character can carry just a bunch of weapons, so I just take them all over to the vendor, and I can sell them all at once. They sell for about 40 caps each, almost. So yeah, I can get to 1400 pretty quick.
You had mentioned that West Tech is one of your new favorite locations in the game. What can you tell me a little bit more about why you love that? That looks like?
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, the obvious one, it's a great place for an XP run. And what I just said too is I go there just if I want to get caps. It's a great place to do that. With the super mutants as opposed to White Springs, you don't take all the radiation, so it's that. And I find like even if I'm not trying to farm them for caps and stuff, the weapons, there's chem benches and tinker benches all through the facility, so you can just take all their weapons and scrap them like as you go, and just get if you need steel and plastic, like those have become my steel and plastic runs going there too. I went through the other night just with Jen and Dwight, and I just scrapped a bunch of the weapons, and I had 350 steel and 70 plastic just from fighting them. And I've done it before where I've done just a couple of runs, and you put that perk card in, and each weapon you scrap is 20 steel, and the sniper rifles are 10 plastic. And I looked when I was done, and I had 900 steel and 450 plastic.
That's crazy.
Do you have your scrapper perk maxed out?
It's only a one-star card, I think. But so that's where I just love to go. Now you just do a quick run, you get a whole bunch of XP, get a bunch of weapons to sell, plastic, steel, all that. And it's not usually overrun. Like White Springs, there's always a bunch of people in the neighborhood, and all that stuff, and maybe you're kind of fighting for enemies to kill. West Tech is fairly popular. Like sometimes you can see maybe somebody just went through, or you might run across a person, but usually you just have it to yourself. And there's usually find at least 2 starred legendary super mutants.
Nice.
But
the Jess informed me, and I've done it a couple times now. It works. Usually, the ghouls over at the burrows will turn to glowing ones but the once you go into the burrows, you don't get the radiation, the ambient radiation from the nuke zone.
Right.
Well, if you nuke West Tech, I know the super mutants don't turn into ghouls, but if you ever have run into super mutants in the blast zone, which happens as often as you would think it would, but those guys drop a lot of like hardened mass and those sort of rare commodity items that you need for like crafting flux. They're really loaded with that sort of stuff. So do you think they would turn?
That's a good question. Inside, I don't know. I haven't tried that, but I would guess it's possible. Or they might treat it more like White Springs. Like if you go into White Springs, nothing's in. But I guess there's not any enemies inside White Springs to compare that to.
Oh yeah. Okay. No, you're right though, because there's no like ghouls or anything running around inside the actual interior of the resort.
Right.
When you were saying inside White Springs, like, what are you talking about? All those ghouls are always glowing, but that I was thinking about the golf club. You're talking about the actual the resort.
Mall.
Yeah. I'm still figuring out that fucking place. Oh my god. You get me up onto the second floor, and I get turned around so quickly.
Oh, White Springs.
Upstairs. Yeah. Oh, speaking of White Springs, you guys running around nuke zones, I always absentmindedly mark it in my mind. I need to ask someone about this. I need to look this up. I need to write this down. I need to look this up, and I've never actually asked anyone or brought it up. There's hand scanners at the White Springs, those cottages, that row of cottages, but back behind. What do those do? Has anyone ever gotten access to those buildings? How do you get access to them? What are they for?
I think that's intended for a future update. I've never been inside. I hadn't heard of anyone that has, but I think I remember hearing something that's probably going to be in one of the survival modes, where you do whatever and you actually become president or something of the
nice.
U.S. Something Ray was talking about a little bit before, but I think it's going to be part of DLC down the road, or not DLC, but just some kind of update or challenge.
It's like the president's quarters and the, or is that the enclave or whatever that you can't get access to, right?
Yeah. Well, there's cottages. You mean there's. I'm not sure who, like VIPs going in there.
Yeah. You know, the enclave's behind it in some fashion, right?
Oh, probably behind everything. Yeah.
Well, before we get too deep into launching nukes, why don't we go reintroduce ourselves briefly to our characters, especially Jen and Will. I'll just briefly say my character is a melee based character at this point. I've done a sort of half, if not almost 3/4 to full respec of my specials. I haven't had to change a ton, but I have maxed out my strength to make my unarmed and melee my main sort of attacks now. So this is actually getting challenging. I'll bring it up later when we talk about getting into these nukes, but it's brought us some challenges here in this portion of the quest, being mainly melee and an armed base. But my character having a little bit of struggles here, so I did have to fall back with some I guess some rifles involved and stuff too. You kind of have to for this stuff. We'll get into that a little bit, but let's see. Will, last time you were on the show, I felt like we needed to get into the background of your character a little bit more. Is there? Can you help fill us out a little bit?
Yeah. So, sorry, that was my fault last time. I didn't, I didn't catch the cue when you asked me to talk about him. But
No, I just I said, hey, is there anything you want to?
yeah.
A little background about your character, things like that.
Yeah.
No.
Well, no. So that's fine. Like all of his specials are, like most people's. I think they were average. Nothing really stuck out too much. It's like high in strength and intelligence and stuff. But the background I gave him, when I came up for it, was that he just came from this military family, and he didn't really want to necessarily go into the military because he didn't want to end up fighting for something he didn't believe in. So he went into law enforcement, and after the automation started coming in, like the way it is all throughout Appalachia, or just in the apocalypse, didn't see eye to eye with all that, and eventually just left law enforcement to join private security, where he just signed on it as a security officer inside Vault 76, which is why he was there. He was just one of the security officers. But so he's just this ultimate goody two shoes guy, just always trying to do the right thing and help people. His assignments were, he was to be a responder in the forest, and everything was all around there. So he just just all good all the time, just do the right thing. And he had his name was Hazel, and I said his name is Hazel Green. I'm not sure. Like I said, it was because when he was born, like his parents saw he had these striking hazel blue eyes, and so like, oh, look at Hazel, and I started calling him Hazel, and that's where he come. And it's something that bothered him. He didn't like the name Hazel, so he goes by Hayes all the time, tries to make everyone call him Hayes, which of course no one does. And playing with Jen, Norman tries to tell him now, it's like that of all the important characters, male characters in history named Hazel, like from Watership Down and all that stuff. So he's coming around on that, learning a little bit. But so he's just this big tough guy that likes to just do the right thing. I started him out with melee, mostly like he has a bunch of melee cards, so that was it. But like you were saying, you do kind of need other weapons on stuff. And I tried for the longest time, based on having the science perk, to use the laser weapons, and it was a struggle. I found all that would happen is I would just fire with the laser weapons until I ran out of ammo and switched to something that could do real damage. But finally, I moved him to the heavy weapons because based off like I had the perk one gun army, which by the way I ended up loving that perk, and so I combined that with the laser and started using the Gatling plasma, and that ended up working really well, and I had a lot of fun with that. So.
Is that what plasma cores are for? I find myself having 4 or 5 of those in my inventory I don't even know where they come from. If I'm getting them as like event rewards or something, why are those popping into my inventory every once in a while?
Yeah, they must be from event rewards. I'm not sure, like if you're not picking them up, but that's what they're for. The plasma cores are for the
for your gun.
yeah,
the plasma Gatling.
Yeah.
So you mentioned that you fire your weapon until it runs out, then you switch to a real weapon. And the update news said that they were going to increase, I think it was plasma gun damage. And for the Enclave, there's evidently the Enclave plasma pistol.
Right. Yeah, I've seen that. I haven't tried that gun yet, but I was curious about it.
Have they already done energy weapons like laser pistols? Because those seem more prevalent and more necessary.
Right. I think they did do something in the past that gave them a boost. But I think by the time they did that, I had already given up on just the straight up laser ones. Jen uses an automatic laser rifle quite a bit. She might be able to comment on that.
Yeah, my I only used it for a short period of time.
Sorry.
And it was mostly because I told you about it because I shot somebody in the face with it because he kept coming after my lead. And I couldn't, I found it and it was the only thing that was equipped and he just kept coming back and coming back and coming back. So I eventually pinned him into a corner and shot him in the face a bunch of times. And it worked. It just took a really long time, but I was testing it. But yeah, my Tesla, that's a different beast. But please continue. Sorry.
I know that Jess actually Ron uses energy weapons. Jess, was there an actual noticeable difference when they said that they do a buff of they're like, oh, we're gonna balance this weapon or whatever?
No,
was it an actual noticeable difference or no?
It wasn't super noticeable the first time. This next one coming up, because they're going to try to buff plasma weapons, since we're talking about it, they're going to buff them by 30% soon. But the last buff was automatic, so automatic laser pistols, and I don't use automatic, and then heavy weapons, so Gatling lasers and stuff. It didn't hit regular laser pistols at all.
Oh, that stinks.
I know. But I'm learning to get better. If you have the right food and chems and perks, I can finally do like 52, 53 damage per shot with my laser pistol. And Ron is 38 now. Once he makes an ultrasight laser pistol, he'll do a little better.
Do you like the ultrasight stuff? I see that as an option with some of my weapons, but then I think, wow, it takes a lot of effort to include ultrasight into my crafting of ammo routine.
Yeah, no, that part would be bad. I'm just talking. There's a laser pistol called the ultrasight laser pistol, and I had one on my main character, but not on Ron yet. And I don't think it uses ultrasight in the ammo. It uses regular fuel cells. It's just a little tougher, I think.
Okay. Because I was looking into the ultrasight. I think the upgrade for the crossbow is you can make ultrasight bolts. I thought, but I could be wrong about that.
It makes it a prime weapon.
Yeah, I believe so. I'm wading into unknown territory here. Sorry, because I was briefly thinking about going over to crossbows because I found the plants for it. I was like, oh, that'd be fun.
Yeah.
But then I was like, oh man, maybe I should find like a legendary one. But I've never seen a legendary crossbow drop. I don't think. You were just saying you were just talking about one a little bit ago.
Yeah. But yeah, I gave I have a quad crossbow I was going to give Jen, and I have a 2-shot crossbow. I don't really use them too much, but so I guess they have them.
Yeah.
But
sorry.
Yeah.
No, I was going to say you were worried about using flux and stuff for some of the ultrasight ammo. I kind of find, that it doesn't really need too much flux. I mean, you do need it, but for all those prime receivers, it increases the amount of ammo you get when you craft it a lot. Like if you were to craft 45, a lot of times you need however much steel and lead, and you might get 21, 45 rounds. Well, as soon as when you try to craft the ultracite ammo, you have to use a flux and some steel and lead, but it'll give you, say, 100.
And if you have ammo smith, does that still affect it for those two?
Yes. Yeah.
Cool. I have not played with that, but yeah, like I said, the ultrasight laser gun, that's still just regular fusion cells. I just confirmed it on the wiki.
Awesome. Now, speaking of ultrasight, though, I don't know what happened. I somehow lost. I had a really nice maxed out Under Armour from the Enclave, like operative Under Armour.
Yep.
Had all the buffs, like the strength of +3 or whatever the max was.
That you worked so hard for back when you were lower level.
Yeah, it was just fucking gone. I was like, where the hell did that thing go? I can't find it anymore. So, and now I'm like trying to craft it for myself because someone else, like I gave the materials to Gabe, but I think he actually crafted everything together because I didn't have the money to put all the plans together. But I just actually got all the plans together now. Now I just have to collect like, I don't know, 10,000 ballistic fiber and, about the same amount of ultrasight. It's crazy. It's ridiculous.
That would be a good thing to sell in player vending to loop it back around. Enhanced Under Armour, with the level 3 or 4.
Yeah.
That's great. That's a good idea.
Mm.
I was speaking of all this, flux and stuff. I've been constantly running low on fusion cores, and I just happened to look up the other day. I was like, I wonder what it takes to mix those. It's just like a flux, one each of all the fluxes. Is that worth it to you guys? For some reason, I think that's a total ripoff, and there's no way to invest all my flux in making fusion cores. But do you think that is a fair exchange for fusion cores, one each of all the fluxes?
I don't know. If you have enough flux, maybe, and if the ammo smith works on that, possibly, or maybe would that be chemist to create the fusion cores to double that? Maybe, but I find it's not too hard to.
Is it one
fusion
each?
cores?
Is it one each on the stable flux?
Yeah.
Or is it one each raw flux?
No, stable.
So that's like you kill the Scorch Beast Queen, you get one of each, and all you can get from that is one lousy fusion core. Yeah.
That's miserable.
Yeah, not worth it, in my opinion. But I mean, there's the other ways to get them, whether you're raiding power armor or taking over a power station. I think that's probably a better way still.
A power station is probably the best way.
Yep, and on those, you don't necessarily even need to do the powering up event, right? You can just take the workshop and power up the fusion core generator with a regular generator.
Right, yeah.
Doesn't it take like fucking 100 to power the
Yeah,
damn?
it's 100 power, but if you have the plan for the fusion generator, it is, I think, is a little extra. It's extra aluminum and some
nuclear
gears.
material.
And nuclear material, yeah. But yeah, I feel like I'm trading aluminum and nuclear material for fusion cores in that case, and I'm not.
Yeah, and you're mostly not even using your own material, especially if you have the contractor perk on.
Yeah, that's true.
Speaking of workshops, you posted in group earlier today some of the creative things you're doing now that you're taking workshops a little more.
Yeah, I've been taking workshops, and I'm not down with the PvP.
Well,
it makes me upset.
I hear you.
Ruins my day. So I don't like the conflict. I just want my lead. So I don't lock anything anymore. If people want to come and take stuff, whatever, take it. Just leave my workshop alone. But instead of putting all the resources into turrets and stuff, I've started turning them into little art galleries.
Mm-hmm.
So I put statues and stuff around. I did like a weird little ring around the rosy vault boy thing at one, and then I just posted the one today that I did because I was particularly proud of it, with all of the Mothman statues circling, and then a little ring of sheep squatches and a couple bunnies in the center.
It was beautiful. Moths to a flame. I really like that one.
I gotta find. I was out of of wood, I think, at the time or something, but I wanted to put a little campfire and do it at night.
Mm-hmm.
That would be fun.
Workshops are one of the best places to get creative like that because of all the extra resources that aren't yours, and if you're using contractor, you can build a lot there. And I mean, I take workshops almost every session, and I've rarely gotten into PvP for them. If I have 2 or 3 workshops, maybe someone will take one. I just let them have it. And within an hour, they're usually off or gone. So it's not a big deal. I've almost never been PvP'd from it.
Yeah.
But I was gonna say, getting creative there, it's really kind of fun. Because you can let your imagination go free. You're not using your own resources. I was trying to make a shadow, kind of like a shadow box the other day. I built up like 4 or 5 levels with stairs, and then using floors, the teeny square floors, the 1x1s.
Mhm.
I was trying to write things and paint things in shadow on the ground.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it worked a little bit. I was doing it at the airport. It worked a little bit, but it was kind of too big to get a picture of. But it's something I want to try again. But I mean, things like that, ideas, workshops are great for it.
Yeah. Well, it's how I found out about the bunny stack.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
I
awesome.
put one down, and then it immediately like locked in right on top, and I was like, oh, I wonder if I can put more on there. So I went 4 up, and then I went 10, and then I built scaffolding, and then I started building higher, and then I was going into my own cloth, and I didn't care anymore. So I just I built this enormous tower, and I was playing with Mr. Jen. He came to the camp, and he was like, "What in the hell are you doing?" And I said, "I don't know, but it's awesome." So I started making plans to fill my entire camp, and then Will told me to take the walls down and build them into my. So anyway, that's how it started. Was trying to build stuff in workshops and playing around with it. I got the idea from Rich, who was putting up. What was he putting up? Will, it was the baseball guys.
Oh,
What we had that day with the 11 camps or the 11
Oh
workshops.
yeah. The baseball statues, right? Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. He was putting them up to give the mobs something to attack.
I had stacked, stash boxes and things that, were more logically stacked because of the shape before. But yeah, the bunny is a stroke of brilliance. And one of the cool things about building in workshops with that kind of creativity is that you can also blueprint whatever you make there and then build it in your own camp if you want.
Oh my gosh, yes. I'm gonna build Bunhenge.
That's how I've come up with it. That's how I've come up with a lot of my plans. You build there, blueprint it, and then you can move them wherever.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Did your bunnies lock more than 4 high, or did they lose their orientation after?
So they, I think if you change your position, they lose orientation. You can just like rotate them. But if you build them inside, they'll go 4 high, and then you can stack a 5th one, but it goes upstairs. So I was doing it, and I was like, what's going on with these bunnies? And I just figured they kind of like flew into the ether or something. And then I went upstairs, and it's like the buns gone wild. They were everywhere all over the top floor. So yeah, they only stack 4 high, and I haven't tried it with other items, but it just it'll send it through the next floor.
Yeah, what about the sheep squatch plushie? That'd be fun. So I'm thinking, what about you stack your bunnies 4 high, you blueprint that. Will the blueprint stack 4 on top of the already 4 that are there, so it stays a little straighter?
Maybe batch stacking.
Batch stackers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll have to try that.
Encouraging bad habits, maybe.
Good habits.
Obsessive bunnyism.
Yeah, Will's gonna be like, "Oh man, we're never gonna get anything done ever."
Yeah, actually, even Sunday, I was on the same server as Jen, so I wasn't surprised. But I went to Grafton Steel, and I look, and all of a sudden there was just a giant tower of bunnies right there, 20 high. I thought, well, Jen was here.
That's a trademark. The tower of bunnies. Bunny totem.
You can tell what character I'm playing on too, because when I'm Norman, I do sheep squatch towers. Yeah.
That's great. So the sheep squatch do stack. That's cool.
Yes, they do.
You guys done this sheep squatch event much? They've got the imposter one from a couple weeks ago. Now the real one's starting to pop up.
Yeah. Yeah, I've done it a few times. Will's done it a bunch. Haven't you?
The free range one you're talking about?
No, Andrew, is it encrypted or free range?
I was both of them. I kind of lump them together for some reason. Imposter sheep squatch, real sheep squatch. You've done it a bunch. You've gotten the imposter helmet, that weird helmet.
Yeah. Got that one a few times. I always, the second I see the little tag go across encrypted event starting, I drop everything to try to go get that, because it'll end quick too if you're not, if you don't get over there.
It's a pretty crazy event. I'm slowly learning more about it. Are there any tips or anything that you guys know that you've done it a few times here that you can tell us about?
Just get to those pylons to make the sheep squat vulnerable, especially like if you're, I have the two characters, one that's a higher level, one that's a lower level. So if I have my lower level character, I hardly even worry about trying to put damage on the sheep squat. It's just like the one hit or something like that. But make myself a conduit for the pylon.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
for the imposter one. Yeah.
Yeah, so that the other people can get to it.
So you activate the pylons, and that makes the imposter sheep squatch visible so that your buddies can attack him.
Yeah.
But the best thing is to have one person just stand at each of the pylons and stay there, right?
Right.
And
sort of.
Okay, go ahead.
I mean, I think if you're wearing power armor and you're ready to heal, you can wander a little bit. You can do pylons and also take care of the ads on the side. Work on some of the gutsies and stuff. And you can even take 2 pylons at once if you're perked for it. But I do think that's usually the safest. Have a couple people, 2 or 3, watching the pylons and the ads, and then the rest of the group kind of fighting the sheep squatch in the middle. And I've been successful more than not. I mean, only like 4 times now, but it's working.
Those gutsies are coming in, level 50 gutsies from the side.
Yeah, it's definitely, if you're on pylons, you better be in power armor. I mean, there's no 2 ways around that.
And the power armor, you activate it and it zaps most of my health away pretty quickly, right?
Oh, it seems like that way. It the health doesn't last long, especially if you try to hold 2 pylons. You're not going to last any time at all. Not me.
Yeah, with the first aid perk active and ramming on the stim packs every 10 seconds, pretty much. It's true, but it hits 50%. I do a stim pack. I can last a little while. Plus, maybe a vampire weapon would help, or if your friends are perked for it. The thing is, I haven't really run it with a group. You know what I mean? I've been with a group, but not one that I was on mic with. It's just been more area chat and singles. So I bet we'd be really successful if we had a team together to do it.
Yeah, probably so. Work together. Always helps.
I did learn that with the camera quest, it's the photo scavenger hunts they have. They had one that was a cryptid search, and when I went to take a picture of the imposter sheep squatch, it came up and registered a sheep squatch, not an Acceltron. It fooled the camera.
That's a good imposter.
A really good imposter.
Now, some people reported sheep squatch in other locations, not just in the sheep squatch event, the one where you heard the cows.
I've seen pictures of some in a nuke zone.
Yeah, I saw a picture of one down by the Sundew Valley plants area. The pink forest.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Like the place looks like it's made out of taffy or something.
That place is awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, I love the ambiance there.
The golden dust floating.
And there are a lot of cranberries in there if you're looking for crimson flux.
Ooh.
I get excited, not to go off topic, but people are nuking some random areas lately when I am seeing nuke zones. I had someone nuke the fissure outside of White Springs the other day, which I haven't seen since like the very beginning of the game. I'm like, you missed White Springs. Your aim is off. But they must have done it for the flux. And gosh, the other day someone nuked Morgantown. That was like on Saturday. I was playing with my hubs, and he hadn't done nuke zones much, and we were trying to get some flux for his Under Armour again. And Morgantown's so full of glowing ones. You forget how many there can be.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, right.
So I'm glad people are experimenting again. I think maybe Harper's Ferry broke them of the whole White Springs Prime over and over again.
Well, I've seen people nuke Cranberry Bog, but not the Prime. Like they just try to put a little more north towards the station and not even worry about the Queen, but they're just trying to get all that extra crimson flux up there.
Yeah, that's sweet. That'd be a good thing too. Oh, when we did the Queen last Friday night on our Xbox Friday night fights we do sometimes when the whole group gets together, Sergio, it was his first launch. Well, we're gonna get the nukes in a minute, but his first launch, and he aimed perfect where we were able to fight the Queen. Queen came out, but the whole fight we were outside of the rads.
Oh yeah, awesome. I love that. That's great.
If you set up that fissure site Prime nuke zone appropriately, you can draw that Queen out and never have to actually be in the radiation.
Yeah, although that's like I just had a little incident last night, the night before, where I lost my power armor because someone had set the nuke up just like that, like you're talking about. So I fast traveled to the little spot right outside of it, thinking I was just going to be able to get in the fight without doing that, and it spawned me inside the nuke zone, even though that wasn't a fast travel thing.
Oh, no.
I wasn't in my power armor. So I started hitting buttons super quick.
That's a mad dash, isn't it?
Yeah, well, except my thumb hit the drop like just for a second, and then like I hit the confirm right after.
Oh, no.
So I dropped my power armor, but because I had the American Patriots paint on it from the Atomic Shop, the game destroyed my power armor.
Oh, fuck.
I texted Janice like I'm about to cry. Because I had the calibrated shocks and everything on there, and I was just, oh god.
Oh, so sad.
That is the worst. Do you actually have the plans for the calibrated shocks, or did you have to like find mods?
Yeah, it was just like going to the Enclave vendor, until he had them, offered them, because it's just a random thing. I don't have the plans. I just bought the mods.
That's mods. Oh god.
So I'm still in the rebuilding phase. But
that is crazy. Hey, before we hop in deep into these nukes, when we have people on, we generally like to talk about their sort of Fallout history. Will, I don't think we got to visit that last time you were on.
No,
what? Can you tell me about the first time you played Fallout?
Okay, yeah, this is so this is kind of an embarrassing story, almost. I don't know. It was when Fallout 3 first came out. Was I don't know 10, 12 years ago or something. I was separated from my now ex-wife at the time. And don't worry, this we're still literally best friends. This doesn't get ugly or anything. But so part of this is you kind of got to know my relationship with her family. Is I have no family here. Just my mom lives in New Mexico, and that's my only family. So her family just took me in completely. And even now, 12 years after, I've split up with her wife, I still have to go to their house every Monday for red beans and rice, every Easter, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, all that stuff. Just I'm mafia deep in with that family. But so while I said we're still best friends now, like way back then, it was still, there was like some awkwardness, the way it could be when we were just recently separated. So I had told everyone I had other plans for Thanksgiving. And everyone got all upset with me and all that stuff. And I said, well, I'm sorry, I have plans and all that. But, they were mad. At the same time, my sister-in-law, she had a house, like they bought a brand new house, 4 houses down from my house. And they decided they wanted to show off their new house and they were going to host Thanksgiving there. So I had told all these people I had other plans. But all I was really doing is I decided I was going to go to GameStop, buy a couple of games and just play games. And I bought 2 games. I don't even remember what the other one was, but one was Fallout 3. And I had never played any of the Fallouts previous to that, and I didn't even know what Fallout 3 was about. I was just looking to play something. But I started playing that game, and I kind of got carried away. And meanwhile, all these family members that I was hiding out from they were parking in the front of my house, walking down to their street, all that stuff. And so I got the lights all turned down in my house. I hid my car in the garage. And then at one point, my nieces, because I have a trampoline in my backyard, even my nieces walked down and they're jumping on my trampoline in the backyard. And I got all the lights out and I'm hiding, just playing Fallout 3. But it was like amazing because I didn't know anything about it, and I just had an amazing time playing this game, discovering what Fallout was all about. It's one of the better memories I have, and it was just one of my favorite Thanksgivings almost.
You're at the video game store. You don't even remember what the other game was. What about Fallout 3 caught your eye? What you said you don't even know anything about the game. Why did you pick that one up?
I'm sure there was probably just something with the cover, and I looked at it, and then I read the back, like you do, and it's just, this is interesting. I like apocalyptic stuff, I guess you could say. Like Road Warrior, Mad Max, stuff like that. Always, there's a fascination about it. And it was just one of those things. It's like, let me just try this and see. I don't know. And then, I went through this debate of what game to start first. It's like, do I get this other? Do I play this one? I don't know. It's like, let's just try this. And I don't know. Now look at me. It changed my life almost. My son asked me one time, he's like, what is it about Fallout with you? I was like, I don't know. But
What?
Just caught me.
Yeah. Well, there's a whole group of us.
Right. Yeah. Apparently.
Yeah, it was the right game for the right time. It's what you needed at the time. Sometimes hiding out in a game can be bad, but sometimes it's just what you need.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's embarrassing. Just the memory thinking about it's like me hiding out in a dark house from everyone. I got all these people like roaming around my house and all this stuff. It's like, but yeah.
That's awesome.
You mentioned your son. He just went off to college.
Yeah. Well, actually, he's a sophomore now, but 2 years ago, and that's something I had mentioned to you before. I think after the first time I was on, I was telling you that I started to just give like a sappy thank you to you and the whole community, because y'all kind of actually filled a hole in my life that I didn't really even know I had. But the way it used to be in my house is when he was here, he would just try to do homework, in the back room. He's doing that, and I'm playing Fallout up front, doing this, and I run into the room, and I'm just like, Parker. It's like, why are knuckles a medium swing speed weapons? That makes no sense. It should be fast speed, right? And it's gone and railing. He's like, I don't know, Dad. And I was like, all right. And then I go in the living room and I was like, sorry about it, and then I'll come back a couple of minutes later. You would not believe how I just died. This is ridiculous. Why? And all this stuff. And then he's like, yeah, sorry, Dad. And I was like, all right, I'm sorry. I'll let you do your homework. I won't bother you again. And then I'll be back in like 5 minutes later. All right. I know I said I wasn't going to bother you, but you have got to see this. Come look at this. And this should just repeat over and over and over. So like when he went away to college, I didn't have anyone to go like vent with all these like crazy little things to. And then I kind of discovered the podcast here, and I started listening to y'all, and I was like, I realized that like that's what I needed, this little conduit to vent my Fallout ramblings, something like that. So not that y'all replaced my son, you can't do that, but there was a void there that you filled.
Can you send us to college?
Sure.
I think that is a common.
He got himself sent to college. I got lucky with him. He's on scholarship there. But
now, does kids hate everything their parents love? Does he rebel against Fallout because you're so into it?
No. He's he's pretty good. Like he's into pretty much everything. Like a lot of people, they think their parents' music is bad, and don't want to listen to it. Like I play music for him, and he adds it to his playlist and all that. So he's good with that. Fallout's not exactly his favorite game or anything. He's played through them, but just like one time, some, and then he's just on to the next game. It's just an okay game for him.
You mentioned you enjoy other post-apocalyptic movies and books and stuff. I didn't know if anybody else had seen it, but I'm really excited about this new series coming out on HBO. Has anyone seen the previews for Chernobyl?
Oh, I haven't seen the previews. I just I heard a little bit about it though. It does seem interesting.
Looks so good. I can't wait. I think it comes out next month. I'm super psyched for it. Chernobyl. We're gonna get some. I know it's not going to be monsters running around.
But yeah, some of the photography that that we've seen from Chernobyl, I mean, it is haunting and beautiful and eerie. Abandoned places in general. I haven't seen anything about this HBO show. Is it going to be an historical documentary? Is it a kind of, are they retelling the story?
Yeah, it's a dramatization of the retelling of the events, I think.
Oh, wow. Okay, I'll watch for it too.
I'm pretty stoked for it. I've been catching up on Game of Thrones, on old episodes while the new episodes are coming on. And that's one of the previews I've seen quite a few times. And I was like, ooh, that actually looks really good. A lot of times I'm just like, hurry up, preview. But I'm like, ooh, this one looks good. And that always, I love Game of Thrones. Skyrim is sort of like my fantasy game that I like a lot. I kind of like Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit and stuff like that. Kind of a little bit into fantasy. I'm not. It's not my absolute favorite, but I do love Skyrim and those titles. With the Fallout, the post-apocalyptic Fallout, the sort of like not my introduction, but I did like Mad Max and stuff, I guess, growing up. But with the huge success of Game of Thrones as sort of a fantasy world, it made me think I'd really like to see a Game of Thrones style, like political faction, warring sort of like expansive series, but set in like the post-apocalyptic Fallout world. Like fantasy is for Game of Thrones.
Right, yeah.
One for Fallout, and I think that would work really well.
So a little bit less action than like a Mad Max type thing.
Right, a lot more political, yeah.
So maybe like zombie show everybody used to watch, Walking Dead, like Walking Dead, or like a zombie post-apocalyptic, but in our kind of post-apocalyptia.
Yeah. There's lots of ghouls in Fallout, and you have to admit that they're basically zombies. I kind of am over zombies a little bit. I think they're a little played out. But I don't know. I just think that especially because with all the different factions that we've met throughout the Fallout universe, and post-apocalyptic, there's nothing more tribe forming than like the collapse of a giant society to form us back into smaller societies again.
Yeah, the factions actually make a lot of sense that way. There have been some fan projects, but I really like that idea now of the idea of dynasties and fiefdoms in a Fallout type of post-apocalyptia as a show. Wow, we need that.
Who's calling all writers? Let's assembling a writing team here. Come on. No, that's great. All right, so while we're talking about all this post-apocalyptic stuff, we should talk about why it's post-apocalyptic, because someone dropped a nuke on it, or there's chemical disasters in the case of West Virginia. So let's talk about what we're blowing up stuff. I was aiming something earlier this week. I saw you were talking about positioning of the nuke earlier.
Yep.
I saw like 4 or 5 people together at one little spot.
Oh, did you think about it?
I thought, is that lame? Is that funny? Is that if they're probably at someone's camp, that would totally fuck up their camp, right? Is that a dick move, or is that?
Well, you server hop.
Yeah, you didn't know it was their camp. No, I think it's funny. I think it's funny because people might not even check the map. They were warned. The entire server is warned.
Yeah. Do you know it happens so often now that I don't even look at the map most of the time now when it says there's because I'm usually not in places that are commonly nuked. You know what I mean?
Right. And I mean, especially when it was only 1 or 2 places for so long. But yeah, you'd be your own worst enemy in that case because you could, nuke someone like you. I like that idea. People keep people on their toes again.
Just start nuking random people's camps. It's like you see groupings of people, just start blasting them up. We should start being nuke dicks. That'd be fun.
But that might be taking it a little too casually.
Okay. So let's talk about nuking a little bit. Jen and Will, have you guys made this run together?
Yeah.
Numerous times. It seems like this is something you guys have done a little bit.
We've done it a few times together, not a lot together. I think we're usually, I guess, when we're on together, a lot of times we're just goofing around, like standing on cliffs and stuff.
We do a lot of dumb stuff together.
I've just basically started the process. I've successfully nuked like twice now. But I've tried to do it a few times, but I've run into some interesting issues here and there. So I'm not as practiced as you guys, it seems. So I will kind of let you guys take the lead and lead us through this quest, and tell us the whole sort of process. I'll try to help ask questions and lead us along a little bit here. But do you remember what we have to do? It says I'm become death. In order to kick off, you have to be in the enclave, and you have to do a bunch of stuff down in the enclave with like terminals and tutorials and stuff. Do we not?
Yeah, so you don't have to necessarily read all the tutorials. You can, if you think you know it, or maybe you've done it with another character, you can go over to one terminal and kind of skip some of that process, but it will kick you off on your way to go to start searching for the codes and the key card, which you have to search for.
Have you done it that way, where you've told the terminal to mark the codes, and you've actually gone out and collected the code pieces? Have you ever done it the old-fashioned way, or are you generally cheating and looking up the codes online?
We usually just look up the codes for the.
I don't mean cheat. I do that too. So I'm not trying to like belittle you.
It's a Brotherhood scribe or somebody who's posting it, an anonymous source who's done the math
out
for
there,
us.
Yeah.
That's what I'm imagining.
Yeah. But we did, for the sake of this week's, the feedback, try to do it the proper way. So, just because.
Nice.
Yeah, we did do some of it. But for the decoding, I let Norman get her hands dirty and do the dirty business of looking up the code.
Yeah, I didn't even realize. I was actually upset. It's like, oh my gosh, we forgot to the whole decryption process, because we went and we found the pieces, and all that stuff, and then we just went on to the thing without doing the decrypting. And so I don't know what the process is of the actual decryption of the codes once you receive the pieces.
Yeah, it seems very complicated and labor intensive, and I think I forget who it was that said that there'd be far fewer nukes if we had to do it the old-fashioned way.
Yeah, no, definitely. The scorched officers or whatever. So I'm assuming that the terminal will just mark them, and you can find them fairly easily.
Yeah, that part is fairly easy, because you just say whether you want to go to an alpha code piece or Bravo or Charlie, and it just marks them right there, and then you can kind of fast travel there if you want, and they're usually just right there, no problem. You kill them, and piece acquired.
That's nice. Now the next part is not so easy for me.
The key card.
They take pity on you the first time through, and they give you one. Very nice. I've heard people just mention in passing, "Oh, me and my 12 key cards, me and my 13 key cards, me and my 45 key cards." How on earth, are these people shooting down these cargo bots? Is that how they do it? Because I summoned the cargo bot, right? That's one of the options here in these terminals. You go into the military zone of the enclave. You go all the way upstairs into the very protected zone behind the last like set of red gates, and you find the red terminal, like the security terminal or whatever, and it'll mark this cargo bot for you on your map, so you can run off and go get it. So you fast travel out, and you fast travel right to the nearest location that it's at. And by the time you get there, it is fucking 20% across the map, and you're like, oh shit, this thing is moving. So you get it hot on its tail, and you're right behind it, and all of a sudden it kicks into high gear, and it is fucking halfway across the map before you can blink. How on earth are you getting this thing down?
Yeah. Well, if you shoot those the vertibots that protect it, those aren't too hard to shoot down. Once you get those down, the cargo bot itself tends to stay in the general area.
So it doesn't. Okay, that makes sense. All right, I'll start concentrating on the big guy. Then I kept trying to chase the small guy, and he would bolt and it would run, and I just could never keep up with him.
And his damage resistance is so high; it takes a while to shoot it down too, right? So, but I have a I have a lot of key cards, but that's just because with one of my characters, where my camp is, they just fly over my camp kind of all the time, and every now and then I'll just hear them outside, and I'm like, okay, let's go out and shoot these down and get a key card.
That's great. So tell me how to take it down. What kind of rifle or whatever? What do you use?
When I was lower level, I would break out the black powder rifle. I figured just a lot of heavy damage with one shot. Now I have an explosive automatic combat rifle, and I just use that. So, and it's kind of, I do just what I said. I target the 3 vertibots that protect it. And once they're down, the cargo bot kind of just stays in the area, and I just keep shooting away till I get it. And it's easier if you can get up on something high. Like I'll jump up on the roof of my camp to get close to it.
Interesting. Yeah. So, but the first time through, they actually give you this key card. They're very nice.
Yeah, actually, we did that thing, and I didn't even know about this as much time as I'd put in the game. The whole, like, I'd known from reading the terminals that they had the Chinese, whatever the like the intelligence office beneath Mama Dulce's.
Yeah.
And so, but I didn't know that was part of actually one of the things you could do as a first time to get a key card or something to go into the silo. So that was new for me during this one. It's going in there and reading all that intelligence and stuff. And then once we did that, it enabled us. Well, we had the key card and could go in.
Yeah, it was the method for decoding
That's what it was.
The stuff. Yeah. But Will and I, even though we were doing the quest together, we had different quests. I got I got the Mama Dolce thing, and then you were following my quest markers.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then it got all like weird because our quest markers were getting mixed, so I had to turn stuff off, and he had to turn stuff on. So underneath Mama Dolce's was that cool place that we'd never been to before, and then we had to read the terminal to learn about the decoding and stuff like that.
Do you decode upstairs at the administrator's terminal there, right near the entrance, or do you have to go down into the lab area?
Oh, I don't know. We decoded with the internet.
Yeah, that was just saying that, I didn't realize. It's like, oh man, we skipped that step, and I meant to do everything by the book so that I could report it properly in the feedback. But then we forgot about that part, and
we were too excited to go launch a nuke. I had my gun that I wanted to use. So I was like, let's go. Yeah, I got this. No. Hazel's all good. He can have his hands clean. I'm okay being dirty about this. It's all good. Yeah, I was impatient.
Keep the governor's hands clean.
Pardon me?
I said keep the governor's hands clean.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
Okay, that's what gun were you so excited to get out and use?
So in I think it was one of the nuke zone battles or something like that before, I'd picked up a troubleshooter's 50 cal machine gun that also had explosive damage on it. So I'd been stockpiling ammo for this thing for weeks, and I wouldn't pull it out to use it. And then it was, I think, the second last Scorch Beast battle we had during the last round of quests when we had to do all the commendation stuff. I ran out of ammo on everything because automatic weapons. And I pulled out this thing, and Will and Dwight are way out, and the Scorch Beast is coming for me. And they're like, we're on our way, Jen, because, you know, I'm all feeble and empath. And I pulled out this gun and just mowed it down. And Dwight's like, no, she's good. She's good. As this thing just kind of like flops onto the ground. So it's a troubleshooter. So I was pretty excited to open it up in the silo.
Nice.
And it was
that's
so fun.
More damage against robots, right?
Yeah, it was more damage against robots.
And our turrets counted in that as well?
We didn't have any turrets in our run this time.
What? That's great.
Yeah. Well, we were all prepared because, I mean, Will and I have been playing for a while together, and it was interesting to play with somebody else regularly because we were building complementary builds. So I was working on staying a little further back, and Will was heavy weapons up front. He maxed out his hacker, and or I had one hacker and he got the other two, and then I maxed out lockpick so we could hack and pick our way through the silo.
Yes.
And it was just kind of it was interesting because we'd compare cards when we were leveling up to figure out what we needed. So we kind of mapped it out, and then we got in there all ready to do it, and there were no turrets. And I'm like, oh, well, okay.
Now, I haven't found a ton of use for investing in a lot of the higher hacking stuff. For most of the game, I've gotten, you know, around just fine without needing to invest in hacking. But in these bunkers, I really think it's worth investing in getting all 3 levels of hacker. Or like Jen mentioned, teaming up with people who have the one card and you invest in the other 2, or vice versa. So you can have all 3 cards if you share stuff.
Yeah, we joked that that Will was Nick Valentine and I was Kate. Jen, come pick this lock. Hey, Will, can you unlock this terminal?
Come hack this for me, Will.
Yeah.
I mean, Nick. I mean, Will.
Yeah, they're definitely worth acquiring. I know as soon as I started doing like silo runs by myself, like I realized the value of having all those cards, and that was there's all my next points went into getting max rank in those so I could do silo runs.
Yeah, have the hacker. And that's very important because and our next step here after you get the card, you'll want to head off to one of the launch sites. And one of the first things you do when you go into that launch zone is there's a foyer terminal, and then this foyer terminal, you have the ability to, let's see, I think you can turn off a robot's gosh, I don't remember exactly how they phrase it. Inhibitor or something. So
the combat inhibitor.
They'll actually shoot each other.
Yeah.
Or they'll shoot the turrets. They'll start shooting the turrets, and then after the robots and the turrets are done shooting each other, you can actually deactivate the turrets too, I think.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah. So you can turn the turrets off, like you said, or you can turn the turrets against the robot. You remove targeting restrictions, is what you're saying, where everything just shoots each other.
So
and then once all the robots are done, you can go back into the computer. And assuming it hadn't had any issues, which the silos have tons of issues, like you were saying, you can just turn the turrets off and then kind of walk through freely.
And everyone, I think they send waves of robots too. I hear a voice every once in a while. It's like regenerating new crew, something or other.
Yeah, they do. They come out those little robot pods that you see, here and there.
Yeah.
But usually
the robot bank pneumatic.
Yeah, but it's usually not those super high level robots. It's kind of, you might get maybe some major gutsies and stuff. But once you've say beaten an Assaultron or one of those like serious robots, those don't usually reinforce.
I find generally at my level, I don't even remember what I am, like 130 something now. There's lots of level 8 Mr. Handies, then the level 50 Mr. Gutsies, mid 20s Protectrons, and 24 Assaultrons. A lot. If I go in by myself, which those are totally doable. Now, when we went in as a big group the other night, last night, God, I haven't slept. This is crazy. It was mad chaos. It seemed like each number of those base robots spawned for each person in the group who was there almost. It seemed like instead of fighting 4 robots, since there are 4 people there, you all were fighting 16 robots, which doesn't sound too bad since each person it's the same proportions, but that's just a lot more robots, right?
I've definitely we did a silo run one time with 5 people, and that was one of the most I'd ever died. I was like, oh, we should be great with 5 people. I'd gone through by myself and done it, no problem. And then we had 5 people, and I was just dying all the time. And I was like, gosh, we all were. So there's something going on.
That was crazy. That was the time we all went with Bernie and Dwight and all those guys, right?
Yeah, and that was Jesse's first nuke.
Jesse's first, right. Yeah, that was crazy. Thank you for saving me. I kept getting lost, trying to come back in, and I'm like, "Well, come and get me."
Oh God,
on my way.
It sucks if you die.
Well, it does suck, but there is a little shortcut to get back in. I was going to mention it when we kind of get to that part of the silo.
Oh yeah, please bring that up when we get to that part. So what are we doing? We've got the terminal shut down. So we need to find that card. There's the biometric something or other card. We find an old one, right?
Yeah, the little blue cards.
Take it to the there's gosh, I want to say north, but I'm not exactly sure about what direction everything is down there.
It's left actually, from the silo. When you enter the silo, you go left.
Enter the silo, but there's a terminal there that has a slide card, and you want to erase your biometric, that little blue card. And then you run down the hallway, take a right, run down the long hallway, take a left, and then you run into the rad shower. It's not a rad shower, but it looks like a shower you hop into. It's the biometric scanner. It stabs you with a bunch of needles and shit, sprays you with some stuff, then boots you out. But you've got your biometric readings.
Right. And if you want to save a little bit of time, you can just go do that first. Do the biometric, scan the body. Okay. Yeah, you don't have to, it first tells you to go to the terminal and learn how to get past the laser grid, because it's a laser grid you can't get past. But and so you're supposed to, the game wants you to go to this terminal and read it so that you can do that. Okay. But once you've experienced and you've done it enough, you can actually just go straight to the biometric scanner, scan your body, and while on the way there, just look for the little blue card, or on the way back, and then you go back over to the. Yep, then you can go over to the thing and erase the card.
Yeah, so you don't have to run back and forth twice. You just do that first. Yeah, that makes sense. Those little blue cards are kind of scattered all over the place. I know there's one in the mess hall. Look on bookshelf. Yeah. There's actually one on the table to the left as you enter the door in the room where the card eraser is, right there too.
Yeah, often they're they're usually in the same spots when they're there, but it varies from each time. They're not always in that exact same spot.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't been down there a ton, but that is a location I found my card a couple times. Yeah. So we get you collect the card, you erase it, you get your biometric readings done, and then you go to the terminal that's attached, the same terminal that you got the card erased, and then you create a new biometric scan card. Then you have to take that to a different set of terminals where you read all the history of everything.
Yeah, you slide it through the thing and register it.
right in between the two terminals, there's two little slide slots that you register your card that way, and that gets you past the first set of red laser gates. So now we're off to the races.
Yeah. And so from there, and then it's the same. Same. You have like once you go down, you go into that hallway. You have usually a few more turrets there, and if you go first to the right, you have to go down to that hallway. There's usually an assaultron in one of those doors to the right there, and you can fight him. If you don't feel like fighting that assaultron, you could maybe take the long way around. Just go past that first hallway that's to the right and go into that little second room back there, and then take that down through the end of the hallway. But you will run it. There's more major gutsies that way.
Do you have some like troubleshooter's knuckles or something?
I don't have the troubleshooter's knuckles yet. I have a request out to everyone I play with. I say, hey, I need troubleshooter's knuckles and mutant slayer's knuckles and and all that. But yeah, that would help. I usually for the silos because that's a little bit more serious. I'm using my instigating Deathclaw gauntlet. And with Hazel, when we were using it, I was back and forth between that and my Gatling plasma.
Love the Deathclaw gauntlet. Well, super good stuff.
It's wonderful.
All right. So it's kind of like you make your way through this cool different hallways and stuff. You down the long hallway and you go to the power station. You work through different sections of the silo, but it's kind of like you find it's wash, rinse, repeat of what we just kind of went through. You find the terminal, you turn the inhibitor off, you make the robots fight the turrets. Once the turrets are done killing the robots, then you turn the turrets off and you proceed to the next section.
Yeah, basically, except that next section that you're talking about that's the one that's all there's a bunch of radiation in there.
Yeah.
So there's a decontamination arch you can turn on with that terminal first if you want.
Oh yeah, that's good. Good call. I generally put my power armor on. Do you wear power armor first of all day to day normally and then silo?
I pretty much never wear power armor, but for that section I will put the power armor on.
Yeah.
It's the same. It's not because that radiation creeps up on you pretty quick.
And if you happen to make your way in there and you don't have power armor, they do have a radiation suit and a damaged version as well down there. At least the last time I was down there, I saw two.
Right, yeah. Or if you're in a team, just have someone share Rad Sponge.
Rad Sponge, yeah, that's good. You post that, right? Rad Sponge, I just figured this out. So you have Rad Sponge, and you post that, which means it doesn't give any benefit to you. But when your teammates are nearby, you help eliminate like 80 rads or whatever off of the rad count. Now, if you actually share that, then it does help you because they're having it and then they're running near you, so taking it off of you. I just figured this out the other day. I was like, oh, it doesn't really do me any good just to have it on. It helps other people, but if I actually want the benefit of it, I need to share it with everyone in the group as well.
Right. Yeah. So it works amazing once when you're in a group and sharing it.
Yeah.
Everyone appreciates it. You're helping them and you're helping yourself. There's another little trick. Maybe I haven't done it myself really, but we've played with Dwight a few times. And especially when you're in the blast zone, he has that card Ghoulish, which that's the radiation heals you. So we were playing with him, and I was sharing Rad Sponge, and he had the Ghoulish, and he said the way it was working is the Rad Sponge would heal his or like radiation, but then the Ghoulish was keeping up like the radiation was. I'm sorry. The Ghoulish card, the radiation would heal his health, and then the Rad Sponge would kick in and remove the radiation, and it was almost like he was always at full health and full or zero radiation. So that's a nice little combo there.
It's so funny you brought that up because I just noticed that I have that ghoulish card. I don't know if I just got it in a card pack or something, but I don't remember ever picking it. And I just now noticed it, and I used it for the first time just the other day. I was like, "Oh wow, this is actually pretty sweet. That's a good card to mess around with." Yeah, especially blast zones. All right. So now that we get to these different the different segments, you have to do a different objective each time. Like what is this next one?
In the reactor room.
Do you have like 3 minutes to? Okay, this is the one where you have to repair the reactor, right?
Repair the pipes, right?
Yeah. You I believe in a terminal, you're trying to attempt to override the security. The security system is going crazy, and you need it to shut off before you can, get to bypass it, so you can get through to launch a nuke. So I think it delays the security alert for like 3 minutes, and you have 3 minutes to run around and repair all the leaking reactor pipes before it kicks on or something. I don't even know.
Yeah, I think it's something like that. That's right. I forgot exactly how it is, but it's basically like doing the power repairing the pipes when you power up the power stations.
Yeah.
You got to run down and do that, and you have 3 minutes or it resets, and you have to do it again. Which this is another step you can skip, like if you know how to like skip that whole thing.
So how do you skip that?
Yeah.
Will does it for me. So how do you do that?
So when you enter that room with the pipes, if you go to the right to the left, there's a door right there, and that's when I call Kate over to come pick the lock. And she picks the lock, and then you can go in there to the room where there's another terminal, and you get into that terminal, and it overrides the reactor start or something like that, or it opens a door that you can't get through to, so you can just go in. You can bypass resetting the whole reactor, and you can get into that back section of the silo that you didn't have access to before, that the computer was making you repair the reactor room before you could go.
Yeah, you just bypass that whole time thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be really nice.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I've been fixing pipes and stuff.
The pipes and terrible. It's a lot easier if you have your directional like headphones on, so you can actually it's back and to the left or whatever. If you get your headphones on, it's a little easier. If I'm just hearing it through my TV speakers, it's a little harder to tell, up, down, left, and right. I can just hear hissing or no hissing.
Yeah. And there's a couple that are just hidden pretty good. You have to almost know where they are.
Yeah, see, I haven't got them mapped out. I've gotten okay at some of the power plants. Like I haven't powered one of those up in a long time, and I've always done it in a team. But I got to the point where I kind of knew where those are, so I haven't run around this silo nearly enough to know where all of them are. But I should just try to skip the whole thing. Sounds so much easier. All right. So after you repair everything or skip it, you can proceed to one of the control rooms. I believe the next one, Jen or Will, is this where you have to? Gosh, I don't remember if you put them in first. No, yeah, okay. You destroy them first. This is the one where you destroy the frame cores. They're called here, but you know what these are. These are really the just star cores painted black.
Yeah.
They're sneaking into my fucking game again. It's like they were woven into my nightmares from Fallout 4.
Did you get the quantum power armor in 4?
I did it once just to say that I've done it. You know what I mean? And I tried it a second time, and I was just like, this sucks.
Yeah, that one last core is.
I don't know.
Anyway.
This is pain in my ass. I know you got to collect like 35 of those damn things. You're like, gee, many Christmas. Worse than the Baron's Eye stones. I know a lot of people say they're
Oh
not,
gosh, yeah.
but because they're concentrated. That's why they're supposed to be easier, is because they're all in one area. And I'm like, oh man.
Yeah.
For some reason, I'd rather collect the Baron's Eye stones.
Well, because of all of that, it hurt me to bash them into pieces in the silo.
Oh yeah, you're like, no.
Why am I breaking these? But I need these for my armor. Yeah.
It's weird. So this section you have to. There's a whole ton of them. They're all over the place, and you have to break them. And you can do that by walking up to them and activating, and it'll like make a cool little pop and a hiss and blow some sparks, but it'll break. Or you can swing a weapon at them.
Yeah, Will, you said something about a flamer.
Yeah, I got back when I was trying to see how quickly I could get through silos by myself, and so one of the weapons that worked really good is you just take a flamer and you can just kind of spray it at the whole console, and they all just start blowing up real quick.
All right.
And destroying. And that worked pretty well.
That's fun. I've heard of people using like an explosive shotgun or something.
Oh yeah, or tossing grenades and things like that. Yeah, but an explosive shotgun would work really well. Yeah.
So you have to destroy a good deal of those. They're all over the place, bending back and forth across different terminal banks and stuff.
Yeah. And that's when well, if you haven't bypassed that first Assaultron, that's when you first start running into like some more Assaultrons. Like, the enemies start getting a little tougher around there. After that, after you get to that next laser grid.
And after that laser grid, the next one is you just destroyed a bunch of them. Now you get to repair and build and find a bunch of new ones again, right?
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
That's super frustrating. You think that you could remove, not destroy, but simply just remove them from the first part, put them in your pocket, then carry them into the next room, and then install them so you wouldn't have to fucking repair and look for and scavenge and scrounge. I know that takes all their fun out of the game, but now Pat has this method. I'm not sure exactly what's happening here, but you can
Uh-oh. Andrew, you cut out.
We were about to hear about Pat's method.
Yeah, we were.
See,
yep.
He's still connected, yeah. Give him just a second. I was actually jumping into Photoshop for a little bit while I was listening to you guys talk about your nuke run.
Oh, there you are. Hello.
Welcome back. Uh-oh.
He's not muted.
I don't see the volume thing moving.
No, hey, Andrew, we can't hear you. Can you
No.
hear us?
Yeah.
Wait, you've been able to hear us this whole time?
Sorry, it cut out for a second there.
Okay, yay, you're back.
Let's cut that part out. We didn't vamp so well that time. Sorry about that.
That's fine. So we said something about Pat's method for repairing these things.
Yes, you were going to explain that.
No, I was going to say if Will might know anything more about what he's doing. Like he would take these few the The star cores are not star cores. What are they? Fusion cores? No, they're not fusion cores.
Mainframe cores.
Mainframe cores. Yeah. But he already has them ready to go when he goes in. Now, can you
Maybe he
pick
can.
up and take them out with you, or are there extras left over damage that you can repair at home, or what's happening there? Do you
They
think?
have some lying around. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Jen.
Oh, they do have some lying around, but I was noticing actually today that you can craft them at your Tinker terminal or your Tinker bench.
Do you need the damaged ones in order, or can you just craft them from scratch? Do you need the damaged ones in order to make new ones?
I don't know. Do you? I have a bunch of them in my
Yeah,
inventory.
I want to say you do because I need the damaged ones, like when you cut them, because it takes one of those, because you need that, and it takes it away, and then plus you need the aluminum and steel or not to fix it.
Oh yeah, so you're talking about Pat's tip of taking 15 damaged cores with you when you go, fixing them outside so they're ready to go when you get into the area.
That's smart.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I know I have a few, just like whenever I'm in, when I see some laying around, I just grab them, just to have, so when I get up to 10, I don't have to repair them. But
all right, oh, here it is. It says it takes 2 circuitry, 3 steel, and 1 damaged mainframe core.
Okay.
What is your circuitry source? Is that just a common draw from robots or turrets, or where does that come from?
Yeah, you just get that in the silo from all the robots you kill. Usually.
So you can easily get 15, and let's see how many. You don't repair all of them because you actually find other ones laying around the room. I don't even remember how many you can repair anyway, but it looks like Pat brought in 15 or whatever. So he doesn't have to run around and look for them. But the way I did it is I didn't even know you could repair them. I think I kind of searched around. I think they do leave out enough for you where you can actually find enough of them around to install all of them.
Yeah, I think so. I haven't counted or checked it out for sure because some of them are hidden decently.
So do you usually repair those, or find them and just toss them in and run?
I just repair them because I've usually cleaned out most of the things in that room, so there's not many robots trying to kill me. I know they kind of repopulate every now and then, but for the most part, I just run over there to the little Tinker bench and repair them and just go on.
So I think at that point that opens, once you get those all replaced, that opens up the gate and you can actually run past the nuke, the actually launch silo portion.
Yeah, except also in that room, that's where I was going to tell you, that's where the little shortcut is.
Oh, okay. Tell me about that.
That's just if you die. So that little room where the Tinker bench is, where you have to repair the mainframe cores. If you just run along that wall right there, there's a door with a terminal to it. If you open up that door while you're there, just if something happens and you die, when you run back in, it spawns you outside the silo. But when you come in through the silo, as soon as you go through that first laser grid in the beginning, you can kind of just keep going straight through, and it puts you right into that door, into that room where you were, and you don't have to run all through that whole silo again.
That's fucking brilliant. That's a good tip.
It was when we died that many times with the 5 of us, it was very helpful.
It was very helpful to have that door open. Yeah.
Say the amount of time I've wasted. The amount of time I've wasted running around back and forth, dying, coming back in, dying, coming back in.
And the stupid quest marker. Oh my gosh. I don't know how many times I'd end up in a dead end room with one of those robot generator things. Yeah. It was bad.
Gets hairy in there.
It does.
So we're done with the mainframe cores. We are coming into running past the launch silo through the upstairs, and we go into this final room. You got to clear out this final room. You got some laser turrets and maybe some other protectrons and such running around.
Few assaultrons.
Oh, there's the assaultrons in there.
Yeah, and so that's another one that's definitely, to me, one of the better places to get into that terminal and let the robots shoot themselves all up first.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You can do that 3 or 4 times. Yeah, do that every time you can, of course.
There's a couple spots where you can hear the Acceltrons and they're behind the laser grid before you open it up. And I found it particularly helpful to have some pulse mines on me.
Nice.
And you just plant the pulse mines at the door where you know the robots are going to come from, and then you just go about your merry way. But then their legs get all blown off and they pull their sad little torsos at you.
That's the best.
It's an awesome animation, but it is so pathetic. Like, it's nightmare fuel.
And it's
also
disturbing
sad.
to look at.
Yeah.
They move so fast, running on their hands, dragging
Seriously.
their body like that.
Sparking like crazy.
They shoot you, still dragging their ass across the ground.
Yeah, but the pulse mines are really good for knocking their legs out to slow them down a little bit. So
smart, very smart. But in that room, after you clear everything out, you go upstairs. You find the launch control terminal, and we can finally get things rolling here. You have to initiate the launch prep, and that brings out the slowest team.
Oh yeah, they shuffle.
They'll take their damn merry old time to get to their stations. I just thought it was one at first, and then I was like, oh god, there's a second one? Oh no, this takes forever. And then I was like, there's a third? Are you fucking kidding me? So after they shuffle to their stations, it takes forever. It's basically the thing where you have to protect them as they send out more robots to try to destroy things. You have to protect these 3 robots, so they're at their different stations. There's one up top, I think, and then 2 down below at their respective terminals. So you do have to do a little bit of jogging around to protect these guys as they're entering their codes or whatever they're doing. What are they doing? What are these guys doing? Why does it take so long? What are they doing?
That's a good question. I have no idea. I know they got the chief telemetry officer, the chief operating officer. I don't know what all they do.
Yeah, whatever they're doing it very slowly.
Yeah, there's either a count down or count up. I don't remember which way the bar is going, but it does. It just takes a good investment. I'd say at least 5, if not 10 minutes of running around defending these guys.
Well, I like the method that we used last weekend, Will, when I was up on top on the balcony and you were running around on the bottom, because Will was covering like areas that I couldn't see from the balcony, and then I was able to just shoot things down, and then there was a final flood that came in from one doorway. So we got to take them down before they even entered the room.
Oh, that's smart.
Yeah.
Yeah, when we first started playing, like I remember together, like me and Jen, remember some of these conversations afterwards. It's like, why didn't we do this or that? It's like, we don't know how to play as a team yet, because as Fallout players, it's traditionally just a single player game.
Right.
And,
yeah.
And well, I'd never played really any kind of multiplayer game, so we learned a new kind of team mindset finally. So it's starting to pay off.
Yeah. Well, the first time we played together, I messaged the little PS4 group, and I'm thinking I'm all like big, right? Level 55. I'm like, woo, I'm high level. Let's go launch a nuke. And Will joined me, and he was like level 70, I think. So we went crawling through there, and I'm spec'd for sneak melee. And so I couldn't get anything done because I had no multipliers. And there's one little corner where they have a little barricade, and there's 2 Acceltrons in the room. It's the room right before the sentry bot. And we kept calling that death corner because we would just die over and over and over. And I died so often that the server glitched on me, and I tried to go on my power armor, and I glitched out, and then I had to do the whole thing over again. But I had to go, and then Will took it all over, and he did it on his own without me because I had to leave.
Yeah. And that was my first nuke launch too, right?
Yeah.
But I think like we were so like in the single player mindset, we weren't even sharing any cards or anything.
Well, we had no idea what to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys were so young.
We were babies.
You've come so far. That's still a chore for me to remember to share cards. I'll like be playing around, been like on a team with someone. We've been running around looking at stuff, and then like for some reason I glance down into the left-hand corner, and be like, oh, they've been sharing a card for the last half hour. But, oh, I'm not. I'm a jerk. I need to look at that.
Yeah.
I need to be better about that.
I still do that too. Yeah.
Yeah, we've definitely gotten better at that. Asking what other people have mounted, what they actually need, trying to work as a team.
No, yeah, that's great when we're going into the launch the other night when we're like getting really specific about okay, who has what, let's share what we need to break into 2 teams and
Yep.
who has what on each team, so be strategic about how you deploy all the different cards amongst the different teams and stuff. So we're about to launch here. You protect these robots for a good, the rest of your life, and the
And you need one still standing by the end.
Mm-hmm.
So like if I think there's 5 total, is that right? And then if
I
even
thought
if
there were 3 other 5 of them. Oh, good lord!
Yeah.
So even if 4 of them die, you're still good to launch. But if they do die, you can go into their rooms where they populate from. I forgot, I don't know what you call it, and kind of recraft them, remanufacture them, and start to get them back out.
Oh, that's nice. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, but some of the ones like the little lower guys down there, they're in some like little far corners of that. Like it can be hard to find where they come from.
Yeah, they've got like tiny little corner offices way out. Yeah, is there a difference in the stuff you get if they die?
Oh, I don't know. I haven't noticed.
Yeah, I haven't noticed either.
It's usually not too hard to protect them all. I think most of the time they're all still alive, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and I seem to recall way back when I hit VATS, I would lock onto one of those robots, and it doesn't happen anymore.
Oh, okay. Yeah, VATS recognize it as a friendly.
Yeah, they don't even register anymore. So I remember that being a thing. But maybe I'm wrong, imagining it wrong, but I think I remember that. Like I'd tap VATS to see if one of those jerks was coming by, and then it would just lock on one of the friendly robots. And I'm like, come on, man, I'm just looking for the Assaultron. I know he's in there, I can hear him. And I just, same old little Protectoron dude. With that weird red eye that made him look like an Assaultron, so I wanted to shoot him, but he wasn't. Yeah.
What?
Yeah. So after we do all of that, and then it feels anticlimactic because the robots are, they've done their thing, and you're like, okay, now what? And then we go down, and it gets all red in there and dark, and it's hard to take pictures.
Does the mission complete at that point?
Yeah, it does actually. I think so. Yeah, as soon as it's done, the lights goes out. It calls. It says because the mission is what is it called? Like something in the silo. But yeah, so you can complete it without launching the nuke. Yeah.
And then you're over encumbered because they give you heavy combat armor.
Yeah, like
all of a
6
sudden.
missiles.
Yeah.
And a bunker buster or whatever.
Yeah, you get all the things, and then you're over encumbered, and you're like, oh crap, I only have 2 minutes to get out to the space that I launched my nuke. Go.
Yeah. So after it completes, the next 10 minutes or so is spent taking pictures.
Yeah. Turn this way. No, get closer. Okay. Now I'm gonna change the light. Hang on.
In the silo.
In the silo.
And do you usually try to get out and catch a few pictures of the nuke drop as well? The blast zone, the mushroom cloud.
Not so much anymore. That was my what I used to always try to do at first, because they're awesome to see. But now I think I've had so many pictures of those and all that. It's kind of different things in the silo. What can I get? Like I've been trying to get pictures now where because like up there where you launch it, you can see the nuke actually. Like there's that glass and the nuke goes up through the window and you can see the propulsion from it. So I've been trying to get good pictures in front of the nuke actually being launched with, where you can see the jet propulsion and all that, and different things. Just play around. Like I said, we goof around a lot. But
Yeah. But you go and then you put in your key card in the thing on the left.
Yes.
Then go to the right, and you punch in the numbers that you have so painstakingly and carefully decoded. And then go to the middle, and then you set your location.
What's your favorite location?
Will has done this a lot more often than I have. I'm a nuke launch groupie. I kind of go where the nuke zones are. I've done it a few times, but Will, what's your favorite location?
So I'm not very original when it comes to that. For the longest time, it was pretty much just always White Springs, just because a lot of times I was by myself and I didn't know, like, I had so many unsuccessful attempts at the Queen. And so just, White Springs seems like, just a good choice. Lately, it is the prime fissure. Just I hope enough people show up, and just my character is getting a little bit better for it. So I like to do that. I haven't really tried to do Harper's Ferry yet, because I know Jess was just saying she nukes there, or they go there for that. Like when they a lot. But when I've gone to Harper's Ferry when it was nuked, there were just like so many people there. Like I was struggling to find like good things to kill. Like it would be dead before I even looked at it. It was just so I hadn't worried about that one too much. So I just mainly fissure site prime right now.
Yeah, if I've got stuff to spend, then it's fissure site prime. If I'm trying to grind XP, then it's White Springs. But everybody shows up. But it was really cool when we launched our nuke together. When I went to check the map to fast travel, there were so many people. We nuked fissure site prime because we were like, if we're gonna do this, we're gonna do this.
Yeah.
So we went and did that, and there were like a ton of people already there waiting.
Which I was excited about, because I was totally expecting to just fail it. And I was like, we have to do the prime just because that's part of the story. We have to complete it the right way.
Yeah.
And it's like, but we're not going to finish. It won't happen. Just the two of us trying to take down the Queen. But but we set it up and everyone was there. It's like, oh yeah, we might have a shot. Good.
Yeah, there was like a whole team of crazy power armor dudes waiting.
Yeah, sometimes you get lucky. You're on a server, people see Prime, and they all show up. We had that on Friday Night's Nuke, where there were 6 or 7 of us in our two groups, but then we had probably 3 or 4 randos show up too. So it was a pretty great takedown of the Queen. I really enjoyed that one.
Yeah, I find maybe this is just coincidence, but I've noticed like when I play like at night, there's more higher level people for some reason, and the Queen goes down. But a lot of times, if I get on like a Saturday morning or Sunday morning, you look around, you see a lot lower level people, and it could be a lot harder to take down the Queen then. So maybe it could be coincidence, like I said, but.
Favorite other nuke zones highlights: the prison.
Ooh.
I've never been there during one.
Lots of good flux. It's not great for the 3 components for making the stable flux, but for the hardened mass, the glowing mass, and the high radiation fluids, it's not great for those. But there's just an absolute crap ton of all the flux flowers and stuff sort of hidden in the hills around the prison, if you haven't tried that before.
I saw somebody nuked wavy willards. I wondered what they were going for. It made for some beautiful pictures, the Toxic Valley and the...
Nice. I've seen that happen. Yeah, I haven't run up to see what they were going after there, but you're right. I have seen that before too. I've seen down even in the ash heap. Like, what are they doing down in the ash heap? There's absolutely no vegetation down there.
No, I know. I had my camp right by Morgantown Airport when Norman was a wee baby. And I fast traveled to her or we fast traveled to the camp, and someone had nuked Morgantown, like a jerk,
Yeah.
and like
Jerk.
died
Yeah.
immediately.
That really is a good nuke sound, though, Morgantown.
Is it? What do you get there?
Well, it depends. You know how different things spawn there. It can be more scorched, can be more ghouls. But if it's ghoul heavy, you get a ton of glowing ones, and you definitely get flux around the outside. You know, down by the farm and the outside vegetation towards the cat house area.
Okay.
There's some violet flux. There's some cobalt flux, and a few things. But it's really just more the ghouls. You make a circuit around Morgantown, and then they'll respawn by the time you get back around to the corner. So it's good that way. It's kind of like you mentioned in the in the burrows. You know, if there are too many people, yeah, they die. But if people leave and come back in, a lot of them regenerate pretty quick, and it's a big place. So I found it to be pretty good.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, and you're right. Like if they're down, if there's a bunch of people down there, there's a lot you can do, like above ground too. So.
Oh yeah, those probably don't respawn as well, and they're also not. I mean, sometimes it's ghoul heavy, but more often it's scorched and mutants.
I was just about to ask, can you run over there first to see which is there and then report to someone, hey, nuke over here because it's ghouls right now? Or does the nuke itself deter, like, does it respawn different bad guys, or will it?
No, you can definitely do that. If you're in Morgantown, you have somebody there and they're seeing that it's, got a lot of ghouls, that works.
Nice. Okay.
Yep.
Cool. Yeah, I'm kind of interested in looking for the more, just for some more interesting different places to
Some variants.
yeah, to nuke. I really need to get on my hardened mass and stuff, because I always end up with a ton of flux when I come of the raw flux, but then it usually 98% of that ends up being inert flux, and I end up drinking it or dropping it.
Yeah.
I've said before that I want to see someone nuke Arctos, because that's one I've never actually seen. And if you hit Arctos Pharma, I mean, maybe someone overlapped it when they were nuking Vashnak just to troll people, but I've never been in a nuked Arctos Pharma, and that place is so full of ghouls of so many types. That could be good, and there's a lot of vegetation on that mountain too. I bet you'd get some good flux.
Oh, let's hook it up. Is that a closed entry door, or is that one of those buildings you can? Is there a load screen to that?
Oh yeah, no, you can get right in. You can just wander right in.
Okay, so there's no load. Sure. So there's more likely that they'll be affected by the nuke. Okay, no.
Yeah, it is open because you can go up the garage in the back and the stairway in the back and in the front. I'm pretty sure it's open, and when there's eventually a dungeon underneath, hopefully, maybe that'll be affected too.
Yeah, soon. Hopefully, we'll find that out.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, so speaking of Arctos Pharma, I'm sorry, this isn't like nuke related. Do you know how to use those like recipes you get in there, like the creature attractant recipe for the syringer? And like they have like 4 or 5 recipes in there.
I've avoided. I think I've seen them in the. There's a terminal where you can learn them. Is that what it is?
Do you find them? There's like plans. They're recipes that you find. They're in one of the rooms there, like that they do the little experiments or.
Oh yeah.
And like I have them in my inventory, but I don't know how to use anything with it. It just says like creature attractant recipe or creature deterrent recipe.
Does it show up under ammo, like syringe or ammo?
No, like it's just in miscellaneous, and I thought it was supposed to be something for the syringer, and it is. But I mean, I know how to make the other barrel mod, or not make, but if you scrap enough, you learn how to craft the different barrel mods. But these are some things that are supposed to be for the syringer that I don't know how to use. So I was just maybe someone will know and post it in the
I hope
because there's 4 of them that I have that I haven't been able to figure out.
I haven't played with the syringer besides with Rose and the someone to talk to quest.
Right. Oh yeah. I was gonna say, well, and speaking of the syringer, though, like we're about to get to that next part, where we go, like we knew Fissure Site Prime or whatever, but the Endanger All syringer is quite beneficial there. I didn't have it when me and Jen just went, but that reduces or subjects take 20% more damage for the next couple of minutes, so you can use that on the queen, and everyone you got going at it will doing 20% more damage.
Oh wow, that's awesome. That's a good tip.
Yeah.
So you can drop the nuke pretty much anywhere you want, except for the blocked out green zone. That's sort of like the entry level spot near the vault and some of the farms and stuff off to the western side of the map. But what they really want you to do here is get down to the fissure site prime and nuke this scorch piece. Okay, so remind me the story.
Right.
We're getting the scorch beast down there because it's the queen and it is the source of the scorched virus that's plaguing all the scorched in the earth. What is that close? What's happening with this queen?
Yeah, I guess that's it. The queen is just creating all these other scorched beasts that are going spreading out across the world, and whenever they do, I don't know if it's when they do that little yellow poison gas thing or what, but they're spreading their plague and turning everyone into scorched. And that's our whole thing, is we're supposed to go and try to stop the queen. And so I don't know if the nuke is intended necessarily to kill the queen or just to disturb it and draw it out where we kill it, right?
Yeah, I think it is. I think it is to draw it out and you can kill it and put an end to the scorched plague. But the
reign of terror.
Yeah, I think it's something about, I was listening to I can't remember what I listened to. I listened to too many things, but there's a parasite, or no, a fungus that grows on the outside of bats. It's a parasitic fungus, and that's kind of the root of it. So so something happens with the ultrasite, and then and the scorched will crop dust an entire area, and it spreads kind of the spores that are like spore crystals, and then it causes ultrasite to grow out of the skin of the scorched and stuff like that. So I guess it infects you with some scorched lung or whatever. But this is a way to pass the forward to kill the queen, stop the spread and the breeding of other scorched beasts.
So the scorched beasts are breeding. Are these fissure sites their homes? These nests? They just they go out, they reproduce, and they go back and they go to bed at night and in these sites, and then they crawl back out in the morning, or are they actually being spawned in these fissure sites? How are these guys mating? What's going on?
I don't know. They're mutated bats, though, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
huge, fucking giant bats. Yeah.
Yeah. So I looked at it. I'm probably totally wrong here. I looked at it as like, yeah, the queen, it was just spawning them the way like queens in any kind of colony does, and all the fissure sites were where just some spots where they came out, like they're underground, by the glass caverns, but still everything is maybe kind of just, there's like deeper tunnels connected or whatever, and these fissure sites are just some of the openings where they kind of can come up through, like through their network of tunnels and stuff. But
So down to what's that? Down to fissure site prime. You get the scorch beast down. We took her down last weekend. Is this an event that you guys are doing frequently anymore in the PS4 group?
I've been trying to do it a lot more, just whenever I can. Mainly now, just because I'm trying to get all the prime plans for the different weapons. And it's but
well, tell me about that. What are the prime plans?
Well, yeah, because yeah, it takes the ultrasite ammo like you were talking about earlier, but usually those are like it deals the highest damage of almost like any receiver you could put on, like hardened or whatever. So it's about the highest damage you could get, but it also deals a lot more damage to Scorched and Scorched Beast, and I guess more important, the Scorched Beast Queen itself, because I think if you have like a Zealots, stuff that does more damage to Scorched, right? Or well, I'm not thinking of Zealots, but it's
Yeah,
a
no.
Scorched Receiver. I'm thinking of the
right.
Scorched Receiver that does more damage to Scorched, but I don't know if it does the damage to the Scorched Beasts and Scorched Beast Queens. But the Prime Receiver does do the extra damage to the Scorched Beasts and the Queen.
Oh. I would hope that the other one would too.
Yeah, the Zealots, I'm not sure. I don't think the Scorched, like just the regular Scorched Receiver does. I think that only does the Scorched.
Oh, that's a bummer.
So all the other scorched creatures, do you think that affects them, or just scorched? Just the real scorchy scorched.
Only
Yeah,
the scorchiest.
Yeah, that might. I would think that. Again, this is just me guessing, but I would think it probably does affect the other scorched creatures, because it says it's like scorched, but then the prime is scorched, and then the scorched beast and the scorched beast queen.
Yeah, I was always under the impression that it was going to affect both, the queen and scorched beasts, but it's never really seemed worth it to me. That minus damage against everything else, I just never used those.
Right? Yeah, I don't use it either. But the prime receiver is good because it's basically just the highest power damage receiver you could put on your weapon, anyways. Mm-hmm. It just, the only drawback is you would have to craft, use flux to craft ultrasight ammo.
By the way, Will, I checked both the Nukipedia and the Vault Wiki, and nobody knows what those recipes in Arctos Pharma do.
No.
They just hang out and miss, and they do nothing. So
yeah. Okay. So I'm not the only one confused.
Yep. That's why we don't know.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. That's good to know. Sometimes I wonder.
We are cutting edge in our lack of knowledge.
Makes me feel so much better. Thank you.
We all get our nukes dropped. Is there anything else we need to be covering with this whole quest itself? Did we wrap everything there? Any other hints or tips or anything anybody needs to hear about?
Enjoy your decontamination arch when you're done.
Yeah.
So the first time you kill the queen, you get the. Is that every time you get the decontamination arch? I did the first time I killed the queen. I got the decontamination arch. Is that every time? Is that a fixed reward there?
I think it's only the first time. Maybe I don't know. I haven't gotten it every single time.
I think it's first, isn't it?
I actually I got it my second time, not my first. I got a bunch of stuff the first time, but you pretty much always get like a power armor mod, right? Usually like an ultrasight mod or an Exo 1 armor piece. I think it's ultrasight usually. You get there are a couple different items, and yeah, the rad arch is a big one.
Do you get the power armor mods or plans to make?
Oh, plans to make the mods. Yeah, plans to make mods
that's
for it.
Great.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. I need to do that more then.
I think last time when we did it Friday night with the Queen, we helped people with torso, with ultrasight torsos, ultrasight leg mods, and so people were asking what's this, because they hadn't. It was a first Queen for several in the Xbox group and a first nuke launch for a couple.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's Angel got in with us, but I don't know, ran into a little bit of technical issues and server hopping and stuff like that. So, but she had to bail out, and she was really sad. But we'll get you in this weekend if we can get you launching a nuke too, Angel. Get everyone involved. It'll be good times. All right, Nuke Zone. Anything else you guys want to mention? There was one other topic that I wanted to bring up before we close out the show. Will and Jen. Will had a list of suggestions. Jen, I'd also like to hear your ideas. What are some of the improvements that you would like to see in Fallout 76? over the next few updates and moving into the future?
Go ahead, Will. You got your. You've already been thinking about this. I haven't thought yet.
We lose Will.
So do we? Will, are you muted?
I'm sorry. That's, you know what? I'm muted. That is a horrible habit of mine. Jen and Rich and everyone that knows me,
I
like
know.
plays with me, knows I do this all the time. I
I'm like,
apologize.
God, is he avoiding me? Is he? What's going on?
Terribly sorry.
Oh, it's probably
It's
always
so
when you have the
funny.
cleverest things to say too. And you're like, ah, missed it.
No, I was just talking about how just I do have like just a huge list. I started writing stuff down because I don't want to say they annoy me, but there's all these things that I wish this or I wish that. My most recent one is based off that thing that I was telling you earlier, where it destroyed my power armor.
Mm.
Because it was from the Atom Shop. Is
Yeah.
like I wish I want them to just just remove the paint. Don't destroy my power armor. Leave me stranded in a radiation zone with no power armor. But
Low blow.
yeah, there's a lot of little things like I think when or say when you're doing inventory management, I would like them to I would like us to be able to sort the stash by most recent. So when you have a lot of stuff, you can just see them. If you don't catch a name, you just pick yourself up, and along with sorting stuff in the stash is like a carry weight versus like a stash weight, because a lot of times what you have that you on you, once you put it in your stash, it weighs a lot more. So I would like to
Yep.
be able to just distinguish between those two, and then there's of course there's obvious ones that everyone's talk about, like the profiles or loadouts, so you can quickly swap between cards. That's got to come soon. Like, we need that.
Yeah. Quick loadout switcher for cards is a must. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah. So, and some other things like I would like the ability, like maybe when you level up, they give you the option to move a perk point, or you can rank up cards whenever. I would like the option to unrank some of my cards, because I have level 5 cards that just are too many points to commit to that card, and I don't want to go through the process, like putting 3 points into a new card to get it
No.
rank 3 or something like that.
I've painted myself in a corner with some categories. I can't use some of my good cards anymore because they're too high.
Yeah, exactly. So, and that's one. And you want me to keep going? I got, I got a lot. I mean, I don't. Yeah,
No, go ahead.
yeah. Okay. For one, how like when you can hold, what is it? You hold X, or well, different consoles. You hold one button to exit your power armor. I would like I don't know why you can't just hold a button to enter your most recent power armor instead of going into a quick wheel or anything like that. It's a whole process, like where I just told you. Like my power armor was destroyed, like I should just be able to hold a button and enter the most recent power armor I was in, I feel like.
Oh, preach, brother Will, preach.
Oh, yeah, they got the refrigerated backpacks coming out. I don't know why we can't have a refrigerator for our camp, so I could put some of my soups in there that I love so much, so they don't spoil quickly.
A
Yep.
beer fridge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That may be coming still. That may
Is
be
it?
coming as a
Yeah.
convenience item.
Okay.
They referenced it about a month ago as a
Oh, did
convenience
they? Oh,
item.
good.
Yep.
Oh, I want that so desperately. Yeah. And
Maybe you're at it.
yeah. Another thing that annoys me is I'm repairing armor or equipping, crafting armor at a bench and all that stuff, and I would love the ability to just be able to equip it right there, like when you're going through the armor. Instead of having to, go through, finish all the repairs, you exit, then you got to go back into your inventory and remember to go back into your inventory and quick equip armor. I'm all the time find myself not wearing armor because I forgot to equip it, because it won't let me equip it when I'm in the bench.
Hallelujah.
Yeah, and a big one for me is I know there's no NPCs. I don't know if they're ever going to add NPCs, but I feel like they could add some kind of consequences into the game,
Oh.
where like you have decisions to make that kind of affect you. Maybe it affects what rewards you get or something, but something meaningful where you have to think for a second. do I want to do this or do I do that? I feel like it could be done.
Yeah, no, more consequences are good. I mean, right now they're usually based on, did you protect all the things or only some of the things? Did you save all the things or only some of the things?
Right. Well,
There should be consequences for beating up on robots when you're already the mayor for the day. There should be consequences for attacking defenseless bunnies and squirrels.
Yeah, or like
In a
kind of
way.
just decisions. That's what we're used to in Fallout games. Is like your decisions matter and they mean something, and it kind of affects your gameplay. So everything we do in Fallout 76 is just you're following basically the storyline. You're going and you're achieving the quest, and that's it.
Yeah,
So
and hey,
I just
one decision point, talking about nukes like we are, is if you nuke a site other than the prime fisher, that first nuke, when you get the note from the overseer, that's a negative consequence in a way from a decision that a person made. I mean, minor, but still.
Right. Yeah. And so, I guess I'll keep going. I don't know.
Please.
This is a new complaint I have is with the introduction to the survival mode. Is I want to, you get these weapons like the most recent, not the most recent one, but a recent one was the action hero, which was a pretty good weapon to achieve in survival mode.
Mhm.
So I got that one with one of mine. I was like, okay, awesome. Now, like, I'm going to go get it with my other character. But because they have the thing, they don't want people just like kind of amassing atoms unnecessarily. You can't achieve any of the challenges with more than one character. So those weapons are locked to one character only. I wish they would switch that to more maybe like a plan for that weapon, or do something, or unlock it to your other characters so that you can get that.
So you could trade it, but you'll only ever have one.
Right, yeah, like if it was a plan, you could craft it and it could treat it the way it treats anything from the Atom Store. You can't give it away or sell it, but you could at least get it for your other characters. Like you should be able to like get that.
I mean, at least earn it. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
Right, yeah. So, and then speaking of survival, like I would like, I'm sorry, I just feel like we're going on and on.
Oh no,
But,
hey, you wrote them down, so let's.
I wish I wanted to remember my settings between like modes, because like I'm in pacifist mode if I'm in adventure, and then if I go over into survival, I don't kill anyone in survival anyways. I'm just hiding out and just trying to do whatever. But I want it, like I maybe want some different settings. I don't want to, I don't want to only be in pacifist. Things like that. Different. Just remember the settings between characters and the modes. And so,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That would be a good one. Do you have anything about Final Fantasy while you're ranting?
About Fantasy? No, sorry. I haven't, I
know
haven't
how
really
it is.
played very much Final Fantasy. Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. I just know how it is to go on about something.
Yeah. Oh, right, yeah. But and a big one though for me is the whole camps, like this will probably never happen, but I wish, I think me and Andrew talked about this one time. It's we should have our big home that we have, like just like our camp. That's kind of our main camp, but I would like a little mini camp or just something where it's just like, I don't know, a little bed, maybe a couple of crafting stations that is a little bit more portable, so you can actually treat it like a camp and move around the map with it. It would still cost atoms or not atoms, caps to move, but just something smaller.
They give you all these tools, and we love constructing our camps, but they also there are all these benefits to mobile camp, being able to put it out with turrets and stuff, and you have to choose right now. It shouldn't be that way. I agree. Two camps to be awesome, and also being able to make cities with your camps, put them a little bit closer together as long as the green doesn't overlap. Why can't we do that? Right?
Yeah. And along the same lines, like I thought the idea is would be I want to say multiple camps. It's not quite right, but it's something similar to a blueprint system. Like if I have a camp, like say I have my camp where it is, and maybe if I want to build a camp somewhere else, let me just play a game where that camp isn't located there, and I can build somewhere else, and it just like it remembers that other camp, and I have it. But when I log in, I could kind of pick which camp I want to use for that playthrough or that session. Because that would promote more building, I would think. Because right now I feel like my camp is, I like it and I don't want to move it, and now I don't get to build like I like to do.
Yeah, without building from scratch every time, using resources. Or even if your camps, if you have a couple blueprints that use the same basic items, you can move it, put it down, and take it from stored, but then sometimes fitting it to the area where you put it so perfectly around a brook and around a tree, and you made your tree house and all that. And you can't, once you move it, you can't really put it back in the same place, same way.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. That's it. Like I said, there's all these things you play, and you just like, I wish this or I wish that and stuff. So, and I started writing them down, but yeah, that's it. I'll let it roll with that for now.
Well, that's great. No, that's an awesome list. Jen, did you have any improvements that you wouldn't mind seeing included into the game eventually?
I want more photos.
That's on my list too.
I just want I want more photos. It's really nice to. I love the fact that they included your photos in the load screens.
Yeah.
Because I mean, we'll be playing and then one of us will say, "Oh, remember that time we did that thing?" That's on my screen right now.
Yeah.
It's really nice to be able to see things like that. And they're encouraging us to play for a long time, giving us all of these additional quests and stuff and events. And I feel like it should. I don't want to have to just have 40 pictures.
Yeah.
I want 50. I want 100. But yeah.
Well, I don't understand why there's a limit if they're being stored on your local hard drive.
Yeah.
I don't know if it affects their server that way.
Right.
It may have to do with the algorithm they have for making them loading screens or something.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Maybe there's a way to like activate it or deactivate it. But now that you've got the camera, I mean, I'm like, it's like stash limit again. I'm perpetually over encumbered. I'm like, God, I can't take that picture because and I missed the shot because I I don't have the room. So I would really like that.
Yeah. One of the things I wanted basically since the beginning of the game, I know it'll never happen. It's almost pie in the sky type things. But like say I have photos in my gallery that I really liked, I would like to be able to share them. Or like if Jen has some that she likes, she would like to like make them available to share. And then if I'm on her friends list, like let me see some of her pictures in my loading screen every now and then if she had those, selected as ones that she allowed.
Oh, that would be great. Like right now,
that would be cool.
If you share a console, if someone else takes pictures on the same console, but not between, different accounts.
Yeah, and like the gallery is 48, and then you have to share that 48 pictures between all your different characters. It doesn't matter, that's it.
I have a huge folder on my computer, because after I save them, then I screenshot them and I download them. So I've got probably 200 photos on my computer right now. I'm sure you have as many or more, Will.
Oh, I have tons, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, because for like every picture, like every picture I post, there's probably like 30 more of just that same one with like a slight different little variation or whatever. And it's like for me to figure out which one I like the best.
Like taking a selfie, yeah.
Yeah.
One of the improvements or inclusions I would like to see while we're on photo mode. I know I brought it up on the show before, but I think it'd be cool. Like you have posters and art you can display in the game. I'd like to hang pictures that I've taken in the game. I'd like to hang those on the wall.
That would be awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be cool. Like family pictures.
Yeah, I think that'd be nice.
Your Fallout family. Yeah, that would be really cool. I wonder if people would abuse that though. Importing different image files and stuff.
Well, I've heard that the deterrent in making the lettering so damn expensive is because they don't want everybody just to say whatever they want or whatever. Just like have you guys experienced a lot of problems with people being able to write on their buildings?
No, I saw one building that was all locked up and they had one little door and it said live nudes. The door was locked. Of course I went and checked.
Yes.
It's like, nude what?
Yeah. What's in there?
Robots? Naked robots.
Well, I see the nude ghouls sign, on occasion.
Ghouls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen a few pics on Reddit with maybe a few too many expletives or some unsavory stuff, but for the most part, not. People are just mostly having fun.
Yeah.
Welcome friends, labeling their camp who it belongs to, advertising. I like it, but that makes sense as far as maybe why they made it a little more prohibitive with the neon first.
Have to get those letters if we want to do Fallout Feed billboards all over the place.
Yeah.
How much are the plans for those again?
It's outrageous, isn't it? Like 20,000 caps or something.
No,
It's about 10.
Yeah, start at
10,000?
10. You can get them as low as 8,500 if you have maxed charisma and barter of 3.
Yeah.
I
Great
think.
mentats.
Yep, I think Pat bought them for about 8,500 or 8,600 the other day.
And how much is the mutation serum recipe?
Yeah, those start out at 22,000.
Ooh.
Okay.
But
Are they different prices based on the mutation?
I don't know. I think they're all the same price.
Because it's marsupial.
Yeah.
It's more
I don't know who's paying 22,000 for empath.
Yeah, that's
Oh my gosh.
dummies.
It is the worst. I feel like I have to keep telling everybody I have it so I can apologize for my dying so often.
Sorry guys.
Yeah.
Part of my health is gone.
It's somebody that like really needs friends. It's like, hey guys, I'll be empath if you let me on your team. It just
right.
Right. Yeah.
I have to always you guys are getting a 25% boost in your damage resistance.
So shut up when I'm complaining about all the stim packs. You keep stim packing me alive again over.
No, man. Will dumps whiskey on my head and get up and walk it off.
Yeah.
What a quack.
Yeah. Well, that was one of my assigned perks with Quack Surgeon. So that's one of the fun ones I got to use. Yeah. Oh, speaking of assigned perks, I do not know for sure that this is what works, but like Jen possibly agrees with me that in my luck category I was given a 1-gun army.
Oh yes.
Which it cripples and the stagger and cripples and staggers your enemies, increased chance. So when we went to fight the Scorch Beast Queen, I shared that with her. So we both were going to town with the Scorch Beast Queen with our automatic weapons. Now I don't know that this is why, but that Scorch Beast Queen landed on the ground and she never got up again.
She couldn't get up. She was wounded and grounded.
Whoa.
Yeah. It was.
Say the name of that card again.
1-gun army.
1-gun army, and it gives limb damage or cripple.
Yeah, well, it's for heavy weapons, but it increases the percentage chance of a stagger or crippling limb damage. Yeah.
Wow.
It was beautiful. Will and I were standing side by side facing the head of the queen. He had his Gatling plasma and I had my 50 cal, and we were just firing damage on this thing and it couldn't get up, and then boom, we did it. Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, I can't prove it's from that card, but it seemed like it, because we've had some good experience with that card before, like fighting bloated glowing one, blowing their limbs off and they're just standing there and they can't do any damage.
It's like they're trying to
being
kiss
horrible
you.
to them, making fun of the glowing ones and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fun. It's a good one. But it's really I like that we were given. I like the process of having perk cards assigned, because it forces you to try out different things. I mean, I would have never tried automatic weapons because in a survival game to use more things, but but it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, and I would have never tried that 1-gun army. I'm usually not even a heavy guns person at all. So,
yeah. Tons and tons of fun. Well, now what do we do? We've finished.
We've blown everything up.
Save the world.
Save the world.
Now, in the story, is there any room for why we need to keep blowing shit up over and over again?
Because we're evil and part of the Enclave.
Now there used to be raiders. There used to be raiders in the world at some point. There's not like anything alive anymore to really like attack faction wise.
Yeah, no, there's no good justification aside
Yeah.
from flux and resources and endgame stuff. I mean, and you don't have to do that. They are adding new content, make new characters, but that's one of the big reasons why even on the roundtable, I haven't gotten that far yet. I'm worried that when I get there, if I finish all the quests, I'm gonna lose the will to play a little bit. I like having that over my head. That way, when I spend hours just doing workshops or exploring or being silly, I still know I've got that in my back pocket if I want to. But they're adding enough quests that I'm sure there'll always be something to do.
Yeah, well, they're actually they seem to be adding it at a pretty nice pace now. It's
Yeah.
pretty good. There was a definite like dead period for a while, and that's when I felt like we were getting most of the camp griefing and
yeah.
things like that going on. But now there seems to be enough that it's not.
Yeah,
it's all
and
better.
I don't think they'll keep up the pace. Like I have a feeling after a while, the Appalachia's done in May.
Yeah.
After the Pioneer Scouts and a few updates, it'll slow down, and then the summer updates will start maybe in July or so.
Oh, nice.
So there'll be maybe a little lag in between. But yeah, if they keep doing this and the new quests coming, there'll be plenty.
Yeah, as long as I keep spending money in the Atom store, they'll keep giving us quests.
Thank you, Will.
Just don't feel any shame about it.
No, me too.
Wear your atoms with pride.
Yeah, wear those Atom outfits with pride.
All right, we're talking about other weird spots to nuke. That reminds me of a Xbox conversation we were having, where the fucking sheep squatch imposter so impossible to battle. The thing is, so we're thinking, what all can we throw at it at once? And there's like, well, I can Sergio toss out grenades, and I'll throw out an orbital grenade, and then we'll toss out this and that and the other, and and then someone was like, what if we nuke it?
And did y'all try that?
No, we haven't. What do you think would happen?
I think that would actually be less. I think, being robots, they won't be affected that much by the nuke.
Yeah, they don't have any biological matter attached to them, so they don't really have radiation. Shouldn't bother them too much.
Well, okay, sorry.
Oh no, I was going to say, but those orbital strikes are really strong, so that's a great idea, and I've seen people use artillery on it.
Oh, I was just going to ask, what about just a cryolator to slow it down, just so everyone could,
Do robots have a resistance or like a lack of resistance to one specific thing? Like is cryolator like freezing robots particularly? You know how each bad guy usually has a weakness in some category.
Yeah,
so
I don't know.
Sorry.
Go on, Jen.
I like to believe, I like to hope that so I took Vans in was it Vans? Or is it what is the other one? In Fallout 4 where you have the where you can see their damage, their damage susceptibility.
Oh yeah, that's not Vans, yeah.
Awareness.
No, it's awareness something. Anyway, I took that the first time I played because I wanted to know, and robots seem to take, I mean, their ballistic damage resistance was quite high, but they were really susceptible to energy weapons. So I still go by that belief.
Energy weapons, that surprises me because they use those.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
But then again, you're right. It's the what's it called, plasma grenade or whatever that you use against them.
Yeah, the pulse mines.
Pulse mines.
Because it goes off several times, so it like shakes their housing or something like that. But
electrical pulses that fuck up their circuits or whatever.
Yeah, that makes sense. They expect everybody else to use ballistic, and that's why they're metal on the outside, but the energy works better.
Yeah. I love shooting them with the Tesla rifle. It just makes me happy. But that's what I believe. Also for nuke zone tip, if you're low level and you have a Tesla, you use that in the nuke zone because you will hit everything and get all the XP.
Nice.
Also, if you're low level and you've got a plus 50 friend on the server with you, have them craft level 10 weapons for you. And because they can put
put a suppressor on.
Suppressors and mods
Yeah.
and all that good shit on those weapons that you usually don't have access to at low levels. So have your level 50 friend make your weapons for you that you otherwise it'll just take forever to mass all that stuff. Because they can make it at any level. They don't have to make it at level 50. They can make it at level 10 for you and still give you all the good stuff on it.
Yeah, no, that's the way to go. And if you have multiple characters, that's why all of our next generation of survivors are going to be better equipped.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, they'll pop out of the vault and magically all this great stuff will fall into their lap somehow.
You can patronize my shop, my new player vending shop.
Oh, speaking of that, on the way out, I think I mentioned on the show last time. I think I'm going to go ahead and move my shop over by the. Was it called Garahan or whatever, the mining company where we get the excavator armor? I should get the neon letters so I can advertise on the front and make like a little shop there. But I was going to sell the black titanium and other whatever else you need to make the excavator armor. I was going to see if I can get those components together, set up a little shop to help people make the excavator power armor down there.
People will love that.
Mm-hmm. Like selling bottled water at a parade.
It's like Ray selling. You guys need any water? Water? Water?
Zucchini.
Yeah. Okay, great. Do you guys have anything else you'd like to bring up on the show tonight?
I don't think so. I'm sure I'll think of like 10 things the second we sign off.
Well, just write them down, and either write us an email or we'll have you again on the show. So get your ideas in a row if you think about a million things. So can either order an email or we'll have you on again.
Yeah. Last thing, fast travel mats at our camps, please. I need that.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, amen.
I can't believe that hasn't happened yet. It's still crazy to me.
Oh, hey, quick tip about that. People still getting stuck in walls at camps. Remember, I was talking about how if you click on a crafting bench, it'll do the icon to get you into a camp. It'll also get you out of walls. So if you have a wall where people get stuck, just put a cook stove right outside, one of the little baby cook stoves.
Okay, yeah.
They can click that and not have to reload.
Does your positioning of the camp unit itself determine where people fast travel into your territory?
Yeah, it definitely seems to. As you spin it and move it. I mean, there's also I think which side you're coming to the camp from makes a difference too. But where you move that definitely can change it.
Would it be advantageous just to move it far away from your camp as possible so people can just like load in about 15-20 feet away instead of getting locked in?
I put it slightly off center, away from the side where I want them to spawn.
You just be aware that if you put it on a hill, sometimes you will spawn to your death.
Yeah,
spawn up in the air.
Yeah.
And
that's
like not even on a cliff, just on a hill. I've died so many times because I tucked it behind a tree. I didn't want to look at it all the time. And I was on a slope, and so many dying.
That's
so much
crazy.
dying.
So what is the radius distance from that unit that you will fast travel in?
Whatever the most dangerous location would be.
It's funny at Jen's camp for Norman, like if you fast travel to her camp, most of the time it puts you at the fissure over there by the scorch beast, and you're fighting a scorch beast.
Yeah, Jen, I'll be right there. If you fast travel to me, it'll find the nearest location. But if you fast travel to the camp, you'll go to the camp.
Oh, is that?
But when I'm at my camp, I'm the one and the same, right? Like you gotta kind of wiggle the. So yeah, every time someone fast travels to me for the first time, I'm like, whoa, before you do that, make sure you're hitting the camp. It's like, don't make a left at this street. Make sure you go straight.
Yeah. Yeah. And I had a lot of fun when I was moving Hazel's camp after we finished everything. Like I was trying to build one of those 8-story camps, where if you place the camp way up.
Yep.
And the spawn point, like every time someone would spawn, they just drop down from the sky, like in the
Yeah.
middle.
Yeah.
I was watching them come in, and I was dying laughing.
Definitely, you have to move your camp, get it back down. You can't get it up there after. Although, one of the dangers of moving the camp unit, and I think some people have realized this now, but you know how sometimes there's a small green area, but most of it's red, so you find the one green to place it? If where you then move that individual camp unit inside your camp is actually a red place when you move it there, like it would have been red, that's when sometimes people get the note that they can't place their camp due to an update or due to an issue.
Oh, okay.
So if you know most of the places we put camps, there's a lot of green, but if you're in like that one spot of green amongst a bunch of red, don't move that camp unit.
Okay. Yeah, it's good to know.
Cool. Well, if anybody has anything else, I'd like to thank everyone for hopping on the show tonight. Jess, thanks a lot for helping me host.
Thanks, Andrew. You too.
And our PS4 crew, Jen and Will. Such a pleasure to have you guys on the show.
We behaved ourselves, so it's PS4.
Next time we'll have you guys on again. Please, no holds barred. Please don't behave yourselves.
Okay.
Well, thank you, Jen, so much for making time to come onto the show. Such a pleasure to have you. And
Thanks
Will, such a good job. Thank you so much for coming on the show. Loved having you.
It was a pleasure. Thank you. It's nice talking to you guys. So.
I'd like to thank everyone for downloading this edition of the Fallout Feed Roundtable, and we'll see you in the wasteland.
Thank you for downloading this episode of the Fallout Feed Roundtable. If you are interested in doing a play-along character with us, the show can be contacted by emailing falloutroundtable@gmail.com. For the roundtable schedule, our Amazon link, and all other show information, please head on over to asapodcasting.com, where you will find the Fallout Feed, a Skyrimatic podcast, our YouTube channel, the Chatterbox, as well as other content. Once again, thank you for downloading, and we'll see you in the wasteland.